Well, look what we have here. Another fine audience for me to torment with my endless ramblings and all of my driveling and groveling about everything that seems to be going wrong with the Celestial's environments and his day-to-day routine. And speaking of which, I've already seen one, which is this glaring light that's shining at my face over in this corner. Excuse me while I just quickly close that, and also try and manage to close this as well over here. Actually, I don't think I can, because if I do, then I will not be able to see what any of you are saying. Well, in that case, I guess I will just have to minimize it for now, and hopefully you can see my face a little more hauntingly in this little setup I have over here. Oh, yeah, by the way. Am I scaring you now with my spooky little setup and all the lights and the scary dragon suddenly appearing? No, it's not working? I thought the manual for scaring children said, you had to make a scary face. Oh, right, I forgot. I have to be hidden first before the children see me. Otherwise, they won't be scared. I've been reading this manual for how to scare the kids because they don't seem to be scared by me anymore. And I thought that with it being the Halloween season, I could practice a little. Oh, bear with me for a moment. I shall try that one more time. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. I shall quickly put up my little loading screen, my loading stream, and then afterwards we shall try this again. Ready? And... oh, that's not what I want. That is definitely not what I want. I had clicked the entirely wrong thing. Whoopsie. We'll edit that in post. Let's try this one more time. Where did my mouse go? And rah! Did that scare all of you? Did it work? Is my Halloweeny spooky scary thing work? It's not working, is it? I've been trying to follow this manual and I forgot that it said that it was like meant for 4 to 6 year olds. Do I look like I'm 4 to 6 years old? It does not work for dragons that are several thousand times older than the prescribed age group on this manual for how to scare the children. Bah! All of you kids these days aren't scared by anything anymore. Well, maybe except by politics. That seems to be it. Yes, that's what I should dress up for as Halloween this year. This year for Halloween, I shall dress up as the most scary thing that prevails in today's society. Politicians. Yes, I shall do that. I shall be a politician for Halloween. Oh, where was I? Oh, right, yes. Good evening, all of you fine ladies and gentle furs out there. Of course, I am your humble and gracious host, Tien Long. I am, of course, in my den, as you would usually find me, grumbling my days away. And as you can see, it's a little different than what most of you are used to. I decided that in accordance with the current season, of course that being the season of Halloween, that I would make it a little more ominous with this cheap made-in-China glowy thing that I have in the corner there. But hopefully it works and you can all see and hear me loudly and clearly. So once again, this is my Grumpystream. For those of you that have not been to a Grumpystream before, I simply sit here and I have a little bit of liquid refreshment and I talk too much for my own good until I either pass out or until you find no more interest in my stream. Both of which might happen at some point, but for now, I hope that I am able to entertain you with my endless ramblings. But yes, on the topic of being spooky and all that sort of stuff, I sort of had a little inspiration to liven up my den a little. The old environment seemed a little too boring, as many of you had seen that, and I decided I would have my human pet go and get some equipment, again, the made-in-China lights and whatnot, and he had helped me set them all up so I would look all, like, bloodshot and ominous and spooky and big and rah, and all that sort of stuff. But again, it doesn't seem to be working because none of you are running away in fear. Well, I tried it. I gave it my all. I even had a costume that I planned out. But well, it seems that you kids aren't scared by anything anymore. Although, again, I could run off and I could come back as a politician. That might scare most of you. I'll have to think about that sometime. I might dress up as a politician for Halloween. But, well, I had my costume sitting over there, and I was honestly in a bit of a rush today, so I did not have the time to prepare myself in my costume, so I decided I'll just be Bare Naked Dragon, which I seem to find a lot of you appreciate more than a clothed dragon. You youngsters need new hobbies, you really do. Anyhow, speaking of liquid refreshment earlier, of course, being Halloween, I could not have gone with my usual refined and elegant choice of beverage, which is, of course, fresh Japanese sake, and chilled at that, not warm. And, well, I was wandering around the local liquor store, perusing their stock, and I could not help but find a particular wine that, well, it seemed a little bit appropriate, more appropriate than anything else for this season. Especially because it has a sort of creepy sort of vibe about it, and as soon as you see what it is, I think some of you might begin to understand why. Shall I introduce it? I shall slowly introduce its creepiness in a way that will most definitely make you shiver in your seats. Ready? And... I have found myself a what is affectionately known by Uncle Kage as a tumor cat. You can see it's a cat here, but it's sort of got this tumor on its head. Either that or it's got the world's largest concussion from, I don't know, jumping off too many tables and whatnot. But I have found myself a tumor cat, and I thought to myself this would be exceptionally creepy, especially because, you know, it's a super stretched out cat with a tumor on its head. And it would be more suitable than what I usually have for this particular stream. And, well, of course, I named it the Spookystream, and I was all like, rah, and have all this stuff, but none of you are spooked, because you kids are too damn hard to please these days. I shall put that down for now. Quickly freshen up my whiskers. I'm looking in the little camera screen over there, and my whiskers were all like, oh, look at me, I am like whiskery and fluffy, and I am not changing color because I'm already red. That was an oversight on my part. I should have gotten blue lights instead then. Maybe I could have made myself out like my big brother Tien Long instead of myself. But where was I? Yes. The tumor cat wine. This is actually a Rheinhessen Riesling from Germany, of course, and it is from 2016, which means it is still relatively fresh, and therefore, of course, to be enjoyed by celestial dragons. So, to all of you out there that are of legal drinking age, and if you're not, don't tell me, cheers to you all, and I hope that you have been well lately. Now, of course, I suppose I don't need my fabulously pink straw for this tumor cat. After all, it seems like it's perfectly shaped to go in my maw. Don't think about that too hard. I will give it a go. Why not? I shall be devouring this tumor cat as part of my spooky stream because that is very spooky indeed. Yes, it said so in the manual on page 47. Don't say anything different. Cheers to you all. That cat was enjoying itself in my mouth a little too much. I blame the cat. It's the cat's fault. There we are. So, I have to admit I did not realize this little technical oversight. After all, I'm a dragon. What do I know about technology other than breaking it? But I realized that I cannot exactly keep up this eerie mood and environment, and also look at the chat that is going on at the same time. In other words, I have no idea if you are all still here or if you have left to go, find real entertainment or whatnot. But I don't really want to have to do this, but I'll have to bring up the chat and sort of try to brighten the screen a little, just so it's not glaring in my eyes and therefore ruining the red effect. So if you'll bear with me for a moment while I try to configure this. Let's see what I can do. I can bring it up here. Goodness, it just blinded me in my light. Well, at least I can see what everyone is saying right now. And I just saw Uncle Kage. The first thing, of course, as soon as I bring up the chat, is Uncle Kage's comment saying, I refuse to repeat it. I know that there are ladies in this chat somewhere, and I refuse to repeat his comment, but you know what you said. I bite you for that. But where was I going with this? Yes, I don't know how bad this little glare is in the eyes. Yes, it is quite bad, because now it sort of takes away the whole spooky effect, and it's like, oh, look, there's an Asian dragon and he has technology. Bah. We'll live with it. Anyhow, we'll see what other people are saying at first. Well, I see that they have a comment from Nus Stool over here, and Nus Stool says, "Hey, Mr. Butt-Nosed Dragon." Hello, Nus Stool. Yes, good to see you as well. Anyhow, the mix of lighting is very good, says Quumbeso. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of it, because I like being all spooky and eerie, especially because, yes, once again, it's all like, oh, look at me. I am Tien Long, and I am, all ominous and stuff, and look at me and this cheap made-in-China red lighting that actually makes me look better than I actually do. Maybe I should try an experiment. Maybe I should, try coming from off-screen and be like, rah, I am ominous big dragon. Let's try this. Yes, I want to try this. Yes, because I have all of this going on, and I'm all like, yes, I want to be Spookystream and whatnot. Let's try. Bear with me one moment. I'm going to quickly just no, don't look down there. No, don't look down. Don't look back here either. All right, here we go. We have Tien Long playing a horror film kaiju, practice reel, take one. Ready, and I go, doom, 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 and I go, rah, and I go, nom, 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 and I eat the camera, and then the stream is over. There you go, the shortest Grumpystream that has ever been made. I am not particularly impressed with that reel, but perhaps we'll do another one later. Perhaps then I'll, jigify the camera and put it down lower and actually go like, boom, 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 and I'll actually be spooky. Perhaps the spooky Tumacat wine will help me be spookier, so as the night goes on, we'll see whether or not it does help. But now to look back at the comments and to have this light glaring into my face one more time. I absolutely hate it when it does that. Let me see. And Gumi Bjorn says, butt nose. Now, Gumi, I thought you were one of the few who actually respected a celestial dragon. Unless, of course, you said that at the behest of Uncle Kage, which in that case, I see how it is. Now, let me see. And Jackal the Sergal says, screenshot. Yes, of course. Yes, get your screenshots in of the oddly lit up dragon and the dragon pretending to be a spooky, scary monster. I swear, I can be spooky and scary. It's just you kids are too hard to scare these days. Now, let me see. And Diokami says, "Hoi" from Portugal, Tien. Well, hello over there, Diokami. I'm not familiar on how to return a greeting in Portuguese, but I guess I know how to say, hello in Spanish, which is not exactly the same language, but, well, it's good to see you from Portugal. It is very, very good to see everyone, regardless where you are from. For those that do not know, I currently reside in the Great White North of Toronto, Canada, also known as the Eternal Winter. Although it's not really winter right now. We actually went back up in temperature, so we're back into spring, and I am not complaining whatsoever about that. And Valerian Thorson says, "Hi, Fluffy, and what's up?" I don't know if they're addressing me, but, well, I don't know if I'm particularly fluffy. This is 100% pure grumpy, not fluffy. But I am, of course, doing a Grumpystream, as you can see. So that is what is up. And Alex the Lion says, "You woke me up from my main snooze, Tien." Well, boo-hoo for you. You woke up, you are now on my Grumpystream. Yay, I apologize. But now that you're here, you might as well stay, and I could use some company. Now let me see. And more people saying, hello, hello. I am, oh, hi, Tien, Midnight Shepherd, Shepherd and I. Oh, Midnight Shepherd and I are enjoying your stream this evening. Well, hello to you both as well. I am glad to hear that you're enjoying my stream. Perhaps some of you may want to hear what a celestial dragon has been up to, as well as perhaps what I am going to be up to in the future. Since the last time many of you have seen me on this camera, which was just under a month ago, I have not been to anything much in particular. There had been no conventions nor events for me since then. It's been a little bit of a quiet autumn season so far. But I do have plans for other conventions that I will be attending. The first convention that I shall be attending between now and the end of the year is actually not a furry convention, but rather it is an anime convention that happens in Detroit. It is known as Yumacon, and I have been asked by a particular fellow that will be attending Yumacon as well to make an appearance there. And, well, I guess since it's not too far away and he is somewhat bribing me with wine, I guess I can make a short appearance there for a little bit. Of course, I could not be talking about any other fellow than Uncle Kage, who actually happens to be a guest of honor at Yumacon this year. So that is happening the first weekend of November. First weekend, which is the 2nd to the 5th of November. And I will be appearing there primarily on the weekend, so Saturday and perhaps Sunday. So we shall hopefully see any of you there if you are in that area, and if not, well, not to be feared, because I shall also be making an appearance at Midwest Fur Fest this year. This is something that was more recently planned, and that's why I had not talked about it much, but I have now confirmed I shall be at Midwest Fur Fest. So if any of you youngsters are planning to be in Chicago on the first weekend of December, you shall find an old celestial dragon being an old celestial dragon. There you go. That's all. That's all that's special about me. But those will be the two events that I shall be at from now until about the end of the year. Relatively quiet, but not too much. After all, an old dragon needs to get his exercise and walk to Chicago and Detroit every now and then. It's not too far for me. Now, in terms of other events that are coming up, well, of course, you see that I have spookified the place up a little bit with this ominous red lighting. It actually makes me look a little bit more like a movie poster, you know, like the movie posters that try to be like blood red and, you know, instill that sort of trepidation in you because it's like, ooh, look at all this blood, yes. And, well, of course, it's not working on this audience again. But for Halloween this year, I'm not quite certain that I actually have any plans, mainly because, well, the past couple of years during the Halloween season, an old dragon has tried to make his abode a little more spooky so that perhaps he can lure some youngsters in and snack on them for Halloween, but none of them seem to visit, which is a little bit of a shame. So I have sort of drawn back my participation in the public spotlight, and, well, in return, I've decided that I shall share my Halloween festive spirit with you lot, because, well, I've got nothing better to do. I'm an old dragon. It gets boring when you're retired. But yes, for Halloween this year, perhaps I shall, you know, find a more popular nest where youngsters go to. There was actually one year, last year in particular, where I did Halloween with Uncle Kage down in North Carolina, and like we had kids like running back and forth across the street, and, you know, of course I was yelling at them to get off my lawn, except it wasn't my lawn, it was a friend of his, and I was yelling, get off their lawn, because, you know, yes, if the kids are on the lawn, I tell them to get off. It's just a natural thing that we old dragons do, okay? Don't judge us. We just don't like kids on lawns. Yes, if you're a kid and you're on the lawn, get off right now. Although, it's okay if, I guess, you're on the sidewalk or, like, you know, on the driveway. But if you're on the lawn, get off. I'm not chopping that lawn again after you've stepped on it. Maybe one day I'll have to do like a lawn stream so you can all see what I'm talking about, you know. Have myself sitting on a lawn chair, rocking chair, rocking back and forth like an old retired senior dragon, because I'm most definitely not. And, every time I see a kid run on, I just turn the camera and point him out and be like, you see? This is what I have to deal with every day. You are the reason why I have this stream, because I need someone to grumble to. Yes, I have just assigned you all as my group therapy session. Well, you're welcome. Oh, yes, moving right along. I went on another one of my tangents there again. I do apologize. You see, old dragons like me, that happens often. We sort of get lost in our minds, and so it's like a train that just, derails and then just goes up into... never mind. Anyhow, back to the glaring screen of... Oh, not yet ready. Ow, there it is. Yeah. All right. And let me see. Oh, Arabian Darkstone says, hellos. Sorry I am late. I just got out of the shower. Well, I am very happy that you mentioned you got out of the shower, and I am hoping that you, while you were in the shower, took a shower as well. It is one of my biggest complaints about furries at conventions, especially when they think that Axe body spray counts as a shower. Oh, please, take it from an old dragon that has seen it all. Please, when you step in the shower, use the shower appropriately. So, Arabian, I would assume that you took a proper shower, and for which I thank you. And let me see. Warriors the Dragon says, my Halloween last year, a nice lady gave me a bottle of whiskey and a cigar. Can I be friends with this lady as well? I've had practice swooning or making little old ladies swoon. Anyhow, yes. QB1985 says, may I ask some Chinese candies? Well, you could ask some Chinese candies. I don't know what they would say in return. Oh, I do know what Chinese candies would say in return. They would look at you with the little beady eyes and they'd just say, wah. Yes, because that's what all Chinese candies say. Take it from me, I am a Chinese celestial. Let me see. And Yoshikos Raptorderdis says, go in shower, still stinky, only furries. Well, again, like I said, it would actually help if you used the shower. You see, when I tell furries at conventions, it's good to keep up your personal hygiene, and one of the ways to do that is to actually, go in the shower. They take that quite literally, and they just go in the shower. And they stand there, and they sort of keep standing there until they think that, just by standing in a shower with no water running, fully clothed, and, not even touching the bar of soap, that for some reason that magical steam is going to, take all of the odor away, then they step off. I can't believe that at some point, I would have to probably instruct them, here's the knob, turn it to hot, pull it out, or whatever you do with, shower heads these days, and actually, supervise them on how to shower. And I thought being old was difficult. I have to be old, and I have to deal with these youngsters. Goodness. Anyhow, let's see what else is happening as well. And Kumbeso says, I showered every morning of Anthrocon. Well, thank you very much. I am very, very appreciative of those that do also take care of themselves at conventions. Not just showering, but taking care of themselves. As a dragon that frequents the convention circuits, both in furry conventions and out, it seems that, I don't know how it is, but youngsters, even after many, many years of conventions or of warnings, don't remember the basics of how to take care of themselves. Whether it is eating, getting enough sleep, having good personal hygiene, or, good mannerisms, which is another big one. It seems that it always gets lost in the rush of conventions and of fun. Conventions are a fun place, and they can be a source of much joy and friendship and socialization, but it does not make you superhuman. No matter if your character is a superhuman, you cannot survive without taking care of yourself appropriately, and you cannot have a good time. And in many cases, others cannot have a good time. Well, there's my first rant for the day. Again, I told you this happens very often. But let's see what other people are saying as well. T'Chall says, Tien, will you get into the shower to help instruct us? You're cut off, good sir. Ah, damn kids and old men thinking that I would get in the shower with them. Bah! Well, let me see. And Indigoryu says, I use coconut soap while showering. Got that at a Renaissance fair. Oh, very interesting. Coconut shower, you say. You must have these, you must have, like, some sort of Old Spice variant sort of coconut where, you start using the soap on yourself and suddenly, you're transported to, like, the beach side in, like, Honolulu or something like that. And, there's these, like, lovely, Hawaiian ladies in their little hula dresses and whatnot and skirts and, doing line dances and coconuts falling everywhere. Maybe I should try that sometime. It'd be the cheapest vacation ever. And let me see. Alex the Lion says, tell them to eat when at a convention. Well, I thought I already did. I thought I told them that they had to eat. I guess I have to be more specific. No, candy is not a meal, and neither is Red Bull. There you go. I had to tell you what not to eat. I need another. This is already aggravating me enough. I wanted this to be the spooky stream, and now it went back to the grumpy stream, because apparently that's what you children like. And for that, I need another swig of my tumacat here. So, excuse me while I put this pussy in my mouth. I'm not saying that. This katamushi. Yes, this kaltamushi, because it is a kaltamushi in my mouth. I have to lick it off my finger. Excuse me while I lick it off my finger. Actually, a little got on my noodle as well. I cannot do that to the noodle. No, I cannot. Even if it got on my noodle, I must remain decent enough. Let me just wipe that over there. There we are. All right. Uncle Kage, I see what you did there, and I'm just going to give you a spooky glare. Yes, spooky glare with... Actually, I have to close the comments a little bit more as well. Hold it is... There we are. There. Spooky glare. Yeah, I spooky glare you because of your comment there. Like I said earlier, politicians happen to be the scariest thing that's in for today's modern era, and I don't know why, but they seem that they're the most crunchiest and the easiest to eat, particularly because they don't all run very fast. But if I wanted to be scary, that is again what I would definitely dress up as. Well, I could, perhaps, but that would require me, going to my closet and taking things out and putting them on and trying to clean up. Too much work when I think about it. No, I will not dress up as a politician. It is too much work. And I feel that I would probably actually make a better politician than most, which would make me responsible for politics. In that case, I shall leave the politicianing to the politicians, and they can be the winners by default for scariest costume. Except for them, it's a career, not a costume. All right. And let's see what else is happening as well with the bright lights going up now. All right, let me see. And Jerwin Dragon asks, Tien, can you do shadow puppets with the light on the wall? Shadow puppets with lights on the wall. That's an interesting idea. Let me see if I can. Actually, I'd have to go. I see myself on the wall back. Ooh, I did not notice that before. My shadow is actually quite reflective off the wall. I could be doing, like a whole, like, yes, there we go. What is it called? A Hitchcock. Yes, I could be pulling off a Hitchcock like this. Wow. Yes, look at Tien Hitchcock. Not Tien Cock. No, not Tien Cock. No. Forget I said that. Not Tien Cock. It's Alfred Hitchlong. Yes, Alfred Hitchlong. Yes, not Alfred Tien Cock. No, Alfred Hitchlong. Ready? Alfred Hitchlong. And like, shadows and talking and stuff, and like, rah, and, he's going to give you a die, and you get a die, and this is not working. Perhaps if I actually, hid myself off screen a little more and gave Alfred Tien Long a little, not Tien Kong. I can't get it right. Hitch Long. Alfred Hitch Long. A little more space. And he can, do the rest of the Grumpystream for me, and I can slide off screen, and I can, just get drunk and, fall over, and, Alfred Hitch Long can continue the stream without me. This is too entertaining for me. It actually could be. Well, let's see if I can do these actual shadow puppets, like a little long, just going and the long here goes nah. But then if you want the long to be after to look like he's just had a hangover, he goes Spooky stream indeed, yes it is. I think this Tumacat wine has been modified with something. It's making things exceptionally spooky so far, which I like. That is the whole point of a spooky stream. And now that I have my guest here, Alfred Hitchlong, I can have a little bit more company to drink with as well. So here you go, Alfred Hitchlong. Yes. No, your bottle is supposed to come closer to mine. Stop moving away. I'm trying to toast with you. Your bottle's supposed to come this way. All right, let's try it. No, you're giving... All right, fine. Here's to me, here's to you, fuck you, here's to me. There we are. Oh, goodness. I do like putting that Kaltamushi in my muzzle. Anyhow, moving right along. Let's see what I can do when I open the comments back up one more time. There we are. And Zenfolk says, I would love to share with the two of you. Well, yes, of course. Alfred Hitchlong is great company. He is a hit at parties, although sometimes he can be quite dark, too. You see what I did there? Because he's all... never mind. You kids have no sense of humor. Anyhow, Diokami says, those are the biggest noodle I've ever seen. How have you seen my biggest noodle? I've got questions for you, Diokami. We'll talk. Anyhow, let me see. Brenda Ferris says, oh my goodness, you're enjoying... No, I am not, Brenda. I am just simply refreshing myself so that this stream can continue. It's like fueling a vehicle. Except vehicles are crunchy, and I like them with ketchup. Let me see. And I see Aldia Carufis has joined us. Good evening. Yes, of course. Has to be spooky and all that. And, I see. Is that a polar bear from the Netherlands? That is. I see that Garbear has joined us. Well, Garbear, it is good to see you. Garbear is he's like a big polar bear, big Netherlandic, Dane polar bear thing. I know that he's a polar bear. I just can never get the right, the right term for it. So I'm just gonna call him a big bear, big polar bear. Yes, and he has joined this stream as well. Gar has been talking with my human, and he was all like, "Oh, I hope that you can, introduce me to Tien Long." And I'm just like, "Oh, well, if you watch my stream, then you can, hear Celestial Dragon's voice." And hello. This is not working, is it? I don't know what that was. I don't know what came over me. But regardless, it is good to see you, Garbear. Thank you for joining us all the way from the Netherlands. Of course, we have a wide variety of viewers tonight. Some that are in the continental North America, some that are far-flung out in Europe, some that are as far as Malaysia and Singapore, of course. So there's quite a large international audience that is joining us tonight. And it is good to see you all again. Welcome if you are just joining. And, of course, you can see that it is a spooky stream. I've got Alfred Hitchlong back there with me. he's not seen very often. He's a little bit of a shy one, but when he does appear, he is the life of parties. He just sort of likes to shadow me because, you know, he's shy like that. See what I did there? Because he's a shadow of... bah, you kids have no sense of humor. Let's see. No, well, Mr. Hitchlong, why don't you take over for a little bit? Well, he's sort of apprehensive right now about doing anything, but, well, I'll let him sit in the background and watch how it's done from a professional. Well, let's see what else is happening on the chat over here as soon as I pull it back up. Blah, glaring light and whatnot. And Luke Richards says Tien wants to eat all of us. Well, haven't you heard of the saying that dragons all have? It's similar to what humans say about what they eat is like, you know, what they are and stuff like that. Dragons find that a little too simple. Our favorite quote is, "You are what I eat." Simple as that. Anyhow, let me see what else is going on as well. Uncle Kage says Alfred Longcock. You say that as if you'd seen it before. Who is this Alfred and how can I talk with him? Anyhow, let me see. Do you have plans to go stomping around town on Halloween? Asks Diokami. Well, at the moment, I don't have too many plans for Halloween. Like I said earlier, I have sort of dialed down my Halloween experience to, well, doing a spooky stream as I am right now. For the traditional method of walking around town and trying to scare the children simply does not work, at least not in my parts of town. I don't know what it is, but it just seems that the Halloween spirit has moved on and, you know, escaped down to North Carolina, where it still lives quite prominently. Well, I'm not able to visit down south of the U.S. once more this year, and I am very, very sad I am not able to. But regardless, I know that they'll be having a good time down there, and I shall be having a grumpy time up here. So all is good indeed. And let me see. And Warius and Nico both say that they will have to buy me a bottle of wine at the next convention, either MFF or Euroferns. I shall most certainly be at MFF. Euroferns, I am not quite sure, but after the experience that I had, I would love to be able to return. So we shall see if I'm able to return, and I would gladly take that offer up if it were to be so. Let me see. Arabian Darkstone says, very adult today. I don't know what you're talking about. We're all adults here, I hope. If you're underage, I have many questions for your parents. But yes, very adult today, because we're all adults here, are we not? I hope we are. Well, I don't know. Some of you furries like to pretend that you're much younger than adults, and, well, to each their own. But anyhow. And T'Chall says, the kids want to hug you instead of running away. Yes, precisely, T'Chall. For some reason, they all, like, you know, sort of stand on the spot and they stare upwards and they're all like, oh, dragon, I must hug. And then they hug the dragon and the dragon gets all grumpy and whatnot. Maybe I can give you the point of view that kids have, you know. All I have to do is I just have to stand up and you'll be able to see from their point of view what I look like. And maybe that's why they're not scared. Ready? And... oh, and never mind, actually. Bad idea. Yes, technical difficulty. Moving right along. Let's see. And Jer Winddragon asks, Tien, in any convention you have attended, which is the best restaurant you've been? That is a very interesting question, because at conventions I don't necessarily dine at the restaurant. I usually dine on the restaurant people, the patrons. But now that you make me think of it, that would be very interesting, because I seem to be in a position where at conventions I'm more focused on the convention itself and not exactly what happens around, like, you know, eating. And that's mainly because I'm usually involved in many events at conventions, and therefore I don't have the time to sit down and enjoy. But now that you do mention it, if those of you that are watching have been to Eurofurence, there are many, many restaurants around the Estral Berlin Hotel, all of them located within, and all of them very, very good indeed. A lot of them, well, there was one in particular, they served, what was it, a Viennese schnitzel, and the Viennese schnitzel, which was quite good, and I would most definitely like to have a Viennese schnitzel one more time at that restaurant. I don't remember its name, it's at Eurofurence. The buffet at Midwest Fur Fest, they've got a pretty good dinner menu as well, and the dinner buffet as well, with all of their delicacies. That's always a hit. What other restaurants would I recommend as well? Oh, yes, there is a restaurant that is at, there's a, what is it called? Fernal Equinox. Yes, there's a restaurant at Fernal Equinox that is just across the street from the Convention Hotel. And that restaurant is a sort of an upper high-end scale sort of Japanese fusion restaurant that goes by the name of Miku. I had the pleasure of being taken there along with Uncle Kage by two of the convention staff leads, the department heads and whatnot, and they had treated us out to a night of amazing Japanese sake and cuisine. That one, again, I would recommend if you're looking to treat yourself and perhaps a friend or two. Oh, and Gummibjorn says that is the Estral Stube. Yes, the Stube restaurant. Yes, the Stube restaurant has a Viennese schnitzel, which Uncle Kage and we had been very, very keen on trying it, and we had gone there on Friday evening with the intention of dining on delicious schnitzel, and they were all out. And we were not very impressed, and we were all like, yeah, but we wanted schnitzel and you know, grumble, grumble. So the next day on Saturday, we made sure to get there right on the tip of 5 o'clock. Yes, just the tip of 5. And we had a lovely dinner of schnitzel, although very ashamed to say it, but my human pet who had been dining at that time accidentally took away the schnitzel of another lady who was sitting right beside us as well. So he had effectively stolen a meal that was not meant for him, even though they were both getting schnitzel. Not a very gentlemanly-like moment, and he was feeling very remorse, and I had to chide him along with Uncle Kage afterwards. Let me see. Lou13 Lewis says, how much is the hotel at Tien Long? Well, I don't know what you're getting at, Louis. There are many hotels, and a lot of them cost a lot of money. If you mean staying at a hotel for a convention, that would depend on the convention. Simply go on the convention website and look up, hotel rooms or, booking or whatever they have, and they should be able to help you with the pricing. Yes, furball caught in my mouth. I think it was from the cat. When I shoved the cat down my throat, it seemed to have gotten something stuck inside there. It's probably a furball. Anyhow, and Nico Panda says 3 hours north of Chicago in Wisdells, there is some restaurants I'm sure Dragon would love to go to. 3 hours north of Chicago seems a little far for me, but well, who knows? Maybe, perhaps one day my travels will take me there. And Warriors the Dragon says, Tien needs more to drink. I am wholeheartedly agreeing with you, especially because, well, once again, this is the Spookystream fuel right here. The tumor cat, the mutated, warped, unsightly, creep-inducing tumor cat who is like my evil minion. I could be like Dr. No with his cat, and oh, yes, I could be very much indeed. Oh, yes, stroking my cat. Yes, just stroking it, yes. Not giving you any ideas. None whatsoever. Yes, cheers to you all out there. I can't drink it like a cigar. What are you doing, cat? Stop going in weirdly. Gut Scheiße, gute Scheiße, gute Scheiße. Apparently, gute Scheiße is not an actual thing in Deutsche, but it's something that I picked up off from Uncle Kage, as he kept on saying that about his Riesling. So, well, considering that this here is also a German Riesling, I shall make do with saying similar things as well. Robotic Red asks, if you had a gun themed after yourself, what would it be, like a sniper or shotgun? Well, that's a very rednecky question to ask, and I don't really deal with guns. They're too small for me. They're like this big in the hands of a celestial. Yes, guns are not very practical for me. Well, from what I could tell, I would probably be something that would be able to strike you down from afar, but at the same time, if you were up close and personal to a dragon, which many of you I know wish you were, you would not last very long. And Garbear says, I'm amazed how much fits in his muzzle. When you're as old as I am, you've had practice. I'll leave it at that, Gar. I know what's on your mind. Damned Netherland bears. Anyhow, let me see. Something. Gummibjorn, you're Danish. I thought you were Norwegian. Pandgodag. Pandgod. They're speaking another language over there. It's the language of, the great, Vikings and, their forefathers and, like, yes, we are going to invade half of Europe and we're going to, like, be beefy big men doing it. Yes. Yeah. I shall let them do their Viking thing anyhow. And Nostola says, I want to nom that noodles. I am hungry. Well, if you're hungry, there are plenty of noodles around you, I am sure. There's the whole supermarket that's over that a ways, and, the noodle shop that's that a ways and whatnot. Yes, I'm sure you can find many delectable noodles there. And Bruzo Dragonia says, Tien Long looks like that you are in hell. Looks like you are in hell. Well, I don't know if I would call this hell after all. If hell's got a comfy couch like this and, cat wine I can shove down my throat, I seem to like hell a lot. Actually, funny enough, during my earlier days, my sort of facial features resembled more of a demon, especially the swept back horns that I have. Not very common for a celestial dragon. So in that case, a lot of the other celestial dragons thought I was like a demonic dragon, and it was like, yes, Tien is a demon, yes, he is evil and whatnot. But, well, I seem to have gotten rid of that reputation now, but I've kept the horns. They sort of remind me of, like, that devilish sort of behavior that celestial dragons can have when they're irked or when they're stirred. But if this is hell, and hell has a comfy couch and wine, then I like hell very much. Anyhow, something, the language of fuck you, we pronounce everything differently to how we spell it, says one quaint dinosaur. Well, I guess it could be like that, but, it's better than trying to decipher, the ancient characters of, like kanji or Chinese text and whatnot, especially between traditional and simplified. At least those words sound somewhat similar. Have you ever tried pronouncing a word that was made up of only, circles and angles and X's and, weird little strokes and all that sort of stuff? If you tried to pronounce any of that just by looking at it, you had no idea what it was, and you just look at it, it'd probably sound sort of like, like... It make you sound like a transformer, essentially. Let me see. And Annalicia Welsh says, kind dragon, me and mom... sorry, that comment, wait. Me and mom love dragons. I wish I could give you a hug nicely. Well, if you could give me a hug nicely, I'm sure that could be arranged, but I don't see why furries would, do hugs any other way. Actually, no, I take that back. I have seen them hug, not nicely, like aggressively, and frankly, that's a bad idea. If you are to hug a fursuiter aggressively, I don't think that they would return that hug in any way whatsoever. Let me see. Brimstone the Wolf asks Tien, can you outdrink Kage? Brimstone, you clearly have not watched any of the streams that Kage and I have done in the past. There's all the evidence you need there. You can search up, Uncle Kage Tien Long wine stream, and you can probably find, copious amounts of evidence where he and I constantly try to outdrink each other. But I shall put it out there right now, it is a very, very bad idea to challenge either Uncle Kage or myself, or other fellows such as Boozy Badger or Alkali Bismuth, to any sort of drinking contest. Trust me, you don't want to do it. We've been around long enough that we can say so. And let me see. And Gummibjorn says, yep, a Dane called Victor Borge excelled in that language. It's called the phonetic punctuation. Not language, it's called phonetic punctuation from Victor Borge. If you don't know who Victor Borge is, you can look him up after the show. Or even now if you're that interested. He was one of the funniest and most classic comedians that could come to any modern sort of modern day comparison to what I had just done. Even modern or classic, to be quite honest. There was not a gentleman anywhere close to what Victor Borge could do. As skilled of a comedian as he was with his musical prowess. But anyhow, let me see. And Yaki Soba says the problem is the wine is out before they can declare a winner. Yes, that is one of the issues with trying to challenge Uncle Kage or myself or any of the before mentioned to any drinking contest. The bars would be crying when they saw us. Let me see. Well, and Gummibjorn, of course, says, I'll take that challenge, cheers. Well, Gumi, I thought you had said that your bottle was already 3/4 empty before the stream started, so you better pace yourself. Other things that have been happening, or other musings that I have had recently, well, I am not quite certain of any sort of other events that I shall be going to. As I mentioned earlier, there's only UMACon, there's Midwest Fur Fest as well. There has been one that has been on my mind. I don't know if it's necessarily a good idea, whether I should attempt to do so or not, but there is the meeting of Japanese furs, which is JMOF, so Japan Meeting of Furries, which happens in Japan. It happens yearly, I believe, in the winter sometime, and that is one that I have been very keen and interested on attempting. I have always been fascinated by the Japanese culture, and actually the Japanese culture had been inspired historically, only in part, but still inspired by the Chinese culture as well. In fact, the Japanese language, the written language, was actually based off of a lot of the Chinese written language. If you notice, we have a lot of similar characters and similarities in general between the two. But it seems that Japan had combined their own way of doing things and the culture that they had taken from other parts of the world, and they had turned it into something rather special. And, well, I know that the Japanese furs are a very, very large group, and they are very, very respectful, which is one thing an old dragon can appreciate. They're very respectful. They're also very, very sort of artistically inclined as well. If they're not, drawing all of their anime or mangas or any of their, really, really, good arts and comics and whatnot, they're either doing like crazy acrobatics or dance moves, or they're just essentially, artists beyond compare when it comes to what they do. So I would very much like to visit JMOF, as what it's known as, one year. I don't know if I'd be able to do it anytime soon, but, well, we'll have to see. JMOF sounds like an incredible experience from what I have heard from other youngsters that I can tolerate being around. And I know some of you in this chat may have been familiar with JMOF or even attended. And I know that you can attest to its quality as well, especially because they are very, very respectful and inviting folk, They basically prioritize, ensuring the guests are satisfied to the highest degree above anything else. They are very, very hospitable. Let's see. Celestial has to stretch out his old bones every now and then. Excuse me while I... Oh, there we go. Goodness gracious, I have to stretch out my old bones every now and then. Otherwise, sometimes you'll find me completely stiffened up in my seat, and I will, not be moving from that position for hours, and you'll come by and you'll ask, Tien, is everything all right? And I'll say, no, I cannot move. All of my bones and joints have frozen up from lack of use, so I must keep myself nice and limber and, doing all the youngster stuff, the punch, 1, 2, kickboxing, yes, feel the bird sort of stuff, in order to keep myself limber. Otherwise, an old dragon really becomes an old dragon. and for those of you wondering, after Eurofurrence's little dance battle that I had been forced by Bottle Point to participate in, no, I have not recovered for that. My back is still killing me. So unfortunately, as entertaining as that might have been for many of you that were watching me during that dance battle, my body is still not thanking me after all those months. Oh, goodness. I still feel it, back, somewhere back here. Yes, back there where, that particular part of a dragon was never forgiving me. Still has not forgiven me, in fact, for all those dance moves. The ounces and, the disco staying alive and all that sort of stuff. Let's see what else the youngsters are saying now. Of course, bright lights once more. And Arabian Darkstone says, speaking of cons, Reg for AC starts soon, doesn't it? Well, I would not know off the top of my head, but of course, keep track with, all of Anthrocon's announcements and social medias and all that. Or if you're lazy, you could just, ask Uncle Kage right now and maybe he'll tell you nicely. And Warrior says, I still have the cup with Tien's autograph on. Which cup was that again? I don't know. People get me to sign random things at conventions, and it's sort of a dangerous trap when that happens, because you never know what you are signing after all. It's, you could be asking, someone could come up to you and say, hello, Tien, could you, sign this, shirt for me? Could you sign this thing for me? Could you sign this top hat for me? Some of you will get that reference. Yes, it's very dangerous to be handing me things to sign at conventions, and I've grown rather wary of it because, well, again, an old celestial dragon, we get tricked rather easily, and I would rather not be on the bad end of any sort of consequence. But yes, if it was a cup that I was signing for you, Warriors, I'm sure that it was in good fun and not for anything harmful. Let me see. Oh, and Louis is departing from the stream. Well, I hope that you enjoyed your short stay over here, Louis. Thank you for joining me. Well, have yourself a good evening or morning or whatnot wherever you are. And Diokami asks, how many languages can you speak, Tien? Well, I'm assuming you're asking how many languages I speak. Currently, I can speak only 2 languages that I remember. After all, I don't quite use enough to, bother trying to exercise my linguistic powers, at least not anymore. Celestial dragons that are more into, bureaucratic positions and whatnot can speak as many as, 6, 7, 8 languages. I believe my big brother is more familiar with that kind of linguistic prowess. After all, he lives in Singapore, and Singapore has 4 major languages, and all of them which you will need to familiarize with in one way or another if you are to truly get around Singapore. And let me see what else is going. Something, sign that bill for me, asks Nustul. I'm not sure what kind of a bill you are talking about. If you're talking about a dollar bill, well, technically that's illegal, first of all, to be signing money and all that. And second of all, I don't know where that bill has been. After all, I'd like to point out to many people that whenever you get a $1 bill in America, especially in America, you have to ask yourself how many $1 bills or how many hookers has this $1 bill been passed around by? Or even how many lines of, stuff has been done in with that $1 bill. Things that you have to ask yourselves just because, well, the possibilities are quite high, sad to say. And Gummibjorn says, next time I'll give you a tattoo needle and you have to sign something long. Gummibjorn, you know better than that. And let me see. And Kamikage says, I'm going to have a second breakfast, BRB. Well, Kamikage, it sounds like you are a dragon yourself, for dragons are not normally known to have just one meal for one occasion. We tend to expend our fuel quite quickly. And T'Chall asks, Tien, you're in Canada, can you speak French? Non. Je ne parle pas en français. Anyhow, moving right on. Reminds me more of the tree minders and scholars, asks Bruno Dragonius. They must be having some sort of conversation in the chat. At some point it's like, oh yes, the youngsters are talking about youngsters things, and then here's the old person's corner over here. Yes, right here is the old dragon's corner. Let me just quickly minimize this so that you can see what I'm talking about. Yes, here's the old dragon's corner. It's just me, Alfred, Hitchlong, and, our cats over here. Yes, we have one cat over here, and then we have a second cat also over here as well. We have, like black and white cats because, why not? So we have the old dragon's corner over here while you youngsters chat away. I'll let you chat away for just another moment while I enjoy my kaltamushi, so to say. Cheers to you all. All right, you can keep chatting. I'm going to take a double now. Nom, 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 nom. Good stuff indeed, good stuff. All right, now let me quickly open this back up and see what else is going on with the chat. Here we are. Robotic Red says, well, I'm going to head off now. Goodbye, y'all. Well, good night, Robotic. It was good to have you here on my stream. Volt Ashkor asks, what was that noise? What noise? What? You're hearing things now? Are you hearing things? I don't seem to recall any noise. I'm not hearing any noise happening right now. I hope there are no, ghosts or whatnot happening, or, any creepiness, any haunted spirits or demons residing in my den. That is a very big no-no. There's a very big difference between spooky and, scary, like outright scary. And, what I try to do with spooky is a more playful theme where it's like, ooh, look at this, Tien's like all blood red and, trying to be all spooky and whatnot. And then there's scary, where it's like, you can't sleep at night. And funny enough, that was actually something that happened to my human pet last night. He had a little bit of a nightmare, which was cute for him. It was like, oh, haha, you have a nightmare. You're still not an adult noodle. But he had a bit of a nightmare where he had been exploring a haunted house, or, well, he did not know it was a haunted house. He was exploring an abandoned house, and that house turned to be the house from the Ouija movie, the most recent one that had come out. Yes, it was the house from the Ouija movie, and, well, he was exploring it with a certain other someone, and he wanted to leave, but that certain other someone was like, oh no, this is the house from Ouija. Maybe there's like a secret, laboratory for doing human experiments on it elsewhere. And, well, they got spooked in the end that they had to run out of that dream and back into reality, where my human pet found himself curled up, around his bed covers and bed sheets, which were all tossed up in a knot and whatnot. So I hope none of that is happening here, because if that's so, I'm going to quickly make my own exit from this place, because I am not a big fan of anything that's outright scary myself either. Let me see. And Susan Ray Siebert says, hearing the demons in Tien's hell. Oh, that almost sounds like it could be a poem of some sort, or even like a short story of some sort. The demons in Tien's hell, and you have, like all of these little noodle dragons with like little horns, and perhaps I can do shadow puppets with that. Hold on, I'm going to quickly close this one more time. There we are. Now we're back to Tien's Hell. Yes, in Tien's Hell, we have the demons of Tien's Hell, which are like little noodle dragons that go like, yes, yes, yes. I am a demon of Tien's Hell, and it goes, nah. I am a demon of Tien's Hell, and all that. Yes, well, perhaps we can try something. Bear with me for one moment. Yes. All right. Here's what we're going to do. All right, the demons of Tien's Hell. Yeah. Rah, look at me. I am demon. I am demon of Tien's Hell. Yeah. Rah. Fear me. I am Noodle. I am Demon Noodle. I am Demon Noodle of Tien's Hell. Rah. Okay, that's all you're getting. That's all you're getting from a celestial dragon's moment of silliness and all that. Yes, that is the preview for the demons in Tien's Hell. That's like the story pitch. Perhaps you'll find the feature film coming out in 3 years from now. Well, let us see what else the youngsters are saying as well. And Susan Ray Siebert says as well, little noodle sheeps. I don't know, were those sheeps? I don't think those were sheep-shaped. I tried to make them, like, noodly shaped and whatnot. After all, noodles, as you may expect, are very lithe creatures. They're very slender, very slim, and they sort of tend to wave all the time. But their heads always rear up like snakes do, and they sort of, like, rear up and they go, rah, at you. Especially if you disturb them from their sleep. If you're eating a bowl of hot noodles, be always cautious of whether or not there is a noodle residing inside that bowl. Especially if they're sleeping. They could be sleeping and then you stir the bowl up and they wake up all startled and they go rah at you. So be kind to the noodles. If you find a noodle dragon sleeping in your bowl of noodles, please safely set it somewhere else so it can continue noodling. Let me see. Gummibjorn says, Garbear, then you should hear him whine when he wants Kage to share the wine with. No, I do not whine when that happens. I do not whine for the wine. Thank you very much, Gummibear. Let me see. And Garbear, oh, I see what Garbear said as well. Gar. I give you another spooky glare. Here, hold on. Let me quickly exit this as well so I can give him a spooky glare. How do I exit? There. Almost there. There we are. Ready? And spooky glare. I give you spooky glare. No, this side. Spooky glare. Yes, that works better. Spooky glare. I give you a spooky glare for your lascivious thoughts. I was trying to keep this rather tame and whatnot, but I think that, again, that had all gone out the window in the first 30 minutes or so. And this has been going on for just over an hour, it seems. Goodness, time flies fast when you're having, cold, cat-shaped wine being shoved into your mouth. Don't think about that too hard, anyhow. And I shall open back up the chat for the white lights again. Oh, goodness. I really wish that I could do something about this little oversight. And quickly see what is happening as well over here. And Gummibjorn says, it's sadly for Tien a slow stream tonight. We are sadly not many here tonight, but then the more noodle dragon for us. Well, Gummibjorn, I can't win them all. Again, I am an old noodle dragon, and I am thankful to remember what I even had for breakfast. So for those that have bothered to join a noodle dragon here tonight, well, of course, the dragon humbly thanks you as well. And speaking of humbly thanks, I should probably also quickly run through the list of patrons that I have as well. So for those of you that do not know, this Grumpystream is very generously funded by the donations of those that are on my Patreon. And if you don't know where my Patreon is, click on the video link below or the description below and you'll find the link somewhere inside there. The Patreon donations are essentially to help me continue running this stream and, making sure that I can do things like this spooky stream and making it all spooky and whatnot, as well as having a guest or two occasionally. I have been actually debating on a couple of guests that I want to have on my next stream. Some of them are locals here. They are youngsters that, well, again, I can tolerate, as well as they have a little bit of character of their own. So we'll see whether or not that pans out for the next time. I shall keep all of you updated if that is the case. But to run through the list of patrons that I have, just so I can make sure that they are acknowledged for their generosity, so far, we have Jackal the Sergal, Arabian Darkstone, Altoriu, Goldroxin, Silent Dawn, Silvergatamon, Trottlebale, Volt Ashcore, Warriors Marshall, that's me, Yaki Soba, BT Velwolf, we have Angus L, we have Bo Tomros, Aryan Wolf, we have Indigo Ryu, Amber Thompson, Zragon, and that is it. That's all they wrote, apparently. So we have those as our patrons right now, and I thank each and every one of you for your patronage. Thank you for helping the Grumpystream continue to run as it is. And for those that do not know, patrons of a certain amount, which you can find on my Patreon, are entitled to a few rewards and nifty perks as my thanks for their support. One of those being drawings, which I shall be doing in a little bit, not quite now. We'll wait until I've had a little bit more of the cat wine and whatnot. And, well, I might also have to dispel of the spooky lights in order to have the drawings be seen. After all, it's kind of difficult to see drawings if it's in the dark, such as it is now. But we shall continue forward as best as we can until it is time to do the drawings. Let me see what else is happening as well. And QB Line says, see who is next guest to get interview in Grumpystream. Oh, Grumpystream, yes, QB Line. Yes, thank you. Yes, Taiwan Lion, thank you very much. That is probably one thing that I would do as well, which is my patrons would be able to get sneak previews at perhaps who my next guest would be when that happens, or perhaps, you know, other special content like, oh, I don't know, perhaps a special patrons-only stream at some point down the road. I've been waiting for a few more patrons to subscribe to a Celestial Dragon, if possible, just so we have a bit of a larger crowd to do an all-patron stream, or patrons-only stream. But, well, of course, I am generous or grateful for all the generosity that I can get. But moving right along as well, Raving Rendell says was just in Pandaria, so getting to listen to this awesome music again. Oh, well, if you mean the music that I usually have for my introductions, part of that was taken from that soundtrack, so it is good of you to recognize it as well as appreciate it. And Nustul asks Tien Long, do you also like beer? I am not a very big beer drinker. Beer is for youngsters, and I am an oldster. Oldsters prefer their wines. And Garbear says, other fun things happen in the dark. Gar, you are far too young you're too far in the perspective of a dragon such as myself and a bear such as you. You should not be thinking of such things for human standards. After all, you are a gentle burr in human standards now. And let's see what else is happening right now as well. Warius asks, when will you do a patron-only stream? Warius, I thought I had just described the conditions of that. I am waiting for perhaps a couple more patrons as well, if they feel generous enough to support a dragon's efforts and whatnot. But once I have a suitable body of patrons and we find a time, perhaps that is workable for everyone, then I shall have my Patreon-only stream, where you might get to ask a celestial more personal questions, perhaps more, I guess, more. I don't want to say private questions, but, well, of course you can ask a celestial things that perhaps you might not normally be able to ask here. Well, let me see. Oh, Garbear, you are sorry, but as I am saying again, you are a gentle burr over there. You are a gentle burr, and I know that it sometimes is hard to maintain the gentle burrness around old celestial dragons that have voices that can melt you and whatnot, but don't worry, Gar. I am not offended by your bearishness. Some would say that you were a little overbearing. You see what I did there? Because he's a bear and he was never mind. Oh, and Flashhound says, "Good evening, Tien Long. Good evening to you as well, Flashhound." And what else seems to be happening as well? Well, I don't know what other youngsters have in terms of their own Halloween plans as well. I hope that there is a little bit more Halloween festivity around the areas which you youngsters are at as well. Right now, again, there's not too much happening in the area which a dragon resides, mainly because where a dragon resides has pretty much been overtaken by the fellow countrymen of my pet, fellow Chinese folk. This area seems to be quite popular with the Chinese populace that seems to be coming by the troves and by the shiploads from Asia. And, well, Chinese culture is not very big into Halloween. They're not very big into spooky, into spirits, into ghosts, into any of that sort. Simply because it's bad luck and also brings about bad omens as well. One of the worst things that could possibly happen is the rising of the undead in Chinese culture. That's basically like the second coming, like the apocalypse essentially. If that were to ever happen, you'd probably see it be the end of the world for, in the Chinese viewpoint. So it's not very big around these parts simply because the populace is mostly Chinese. And I guess that's probably factored into why an old celestial cannot really stir up the Halloween spirit here, simply because everyone's all like, oh, the old lucky Chinese dragon that we see every Chinese New Year is also summoning demons and spirits and ghosts and Jiangxi and all that. And he's painting his his abode blood red, as you see right now, and it looks like he's in summoning the layers of hell to surface into this world, and all sorts of nonsense like that. The Chinese are a very superstitious folk. Well, I don't blame them. After all, they have been around for a very, very long time, almost as old as a celestial dragon is, so I don't blame why they would be so apprehensive about anything regarding spirits of the dead or whatnot. And let us see again if any of the youngsters are still active as well. And Susan Ray Siebert says, "Are you saying you can kill people with your breath?" I don't know if I could kill people with my breath. I mean, maybe my morning breath I would be able to, but I am not like a Western dragon. Western dragons, they're all like raw and they breathe fire and shit like that. But, well, us Eastern dragons, we tend to be more benevolent. We're the, bearers of good luck and fortune and wisdom and power and all that sort of good stuff. But, again, don't tick us off. There have been many empires destroyed simply because someone said the wrong thing about a celestial dragon. And, yes, don't tick us off. It doesn't end well for the cities. And a name that I cannot pronounce says, "Hello, Tien Long. One of your youngster watchers want to know what you think about Russia." What I think about Russia? It's cold. Yes, it's very cold. That's what I think about Russia. Colder than Canada. Anyhow. Oh, and Uncle Kage says, "Charlie the Jiangxi. Bloss! Rook out!" Oh, did I say that in the Charlie voice? Oh, goodness, I wasn't supposed to... No, let me say that one more time. Charlie the Jiangxi. Bloss! Rook out! But, no, I did it again. No, I should not be saying it that way. No, I'm supposed to say, Bloss! Rook out! He's exploiting my weakness, and that is Charlie. Charlie is, for those of you that do not know, Charlie is the faithful, Eastern-inspired, definitely not stereotypical-looking, Orient-themed manservant of course, what's his face? You know, the old guy. No, not Uncle Kage. What's his face? Mr. Magoo, yes, Mr. Magoo, that's who it is. Yes, I was going to say, you know, Mr. Uncle Kage, but I mean, what's the difference? Anyhow, let me see what else is happening. And Nustul says, I thought the apocalypse begins when Canadians dominate the world because of the too many excuses. No, that is wrong. Canadians will invade the world and dominate it when their secret flock of Canadian geese in the Canadian Navy and Air Force establish their dominance all over your ponds and lakes and lawns all over the world, and then you'll all be sorry, because Canadians always are. And let me see. And Tien, ever thought you wearing sunglasses? I think you will look badass, says Jerwin Dragon. I have never thought about wearing sunglasses before. I've seen different animals at conventions wearing sunglasses, and, well, it does sort of give off, you know, this whole badassery air of coolness and whatnot. But again, that is a more youngster thing than anything. So, well, I'll leave that sort of stuff to the youngsters. Seeing as how, again, I am an old dragon these days, it's not easy for me to keep up with the youngster trends. After all, you saw me earlier when I began my little stream here. I tried to, you know, replicate the whole, yes, I'm going to jump scare the youngsters, and it's going to be like, rah, I am Scary Dragon. And then all of you youngsters were like, oh, God, it's, OM goodness, it is Tien Long, I am going to hug him. So, well, I don't seem to be doing too good with the youngster trends. I'll just stick with being old. It's much easier on my back. And Arabian Darkstone says, Tien, you are a few geese short as of yesterday. Sorry, and a stuck-out tongue. Arabian, I hope you're not getting at what I'm thinking about. I don't know what it is like where you are, but in some certain parts it's actually illegal to be doing that. Well, I shall not think too much of it. After all, I don't have to clean up the mess they leave behind. You will. Anyhow, Uncle Kage, wow, XD says, dear Karufus, what did Uncle Kage do again? Did Uncle Kage do something? I don't want to know what he did if he did something. What did he do here? He posted a link to a Flickr image. I don't know if I want to click this. Should I click this link? It's somewhat ominous. It's more spooky than my Spookystream right now, this link. I don't know if I want to click it. This is a very dangerous thing. Uncle Kage and I have a little thing where, you know, everything that we send to each other we must take with several grains of salt and caution because, well, I don't know what he had posted here. All right, I guess I shall venture clicking it. Let's see what horrors await me here. Here we are. What is this? Oh, good. What? Yes, I know. Thank you very much for posting what appears to be the most recent photo of my human pet and Uncle Kage. Yes, that is essentially what it looks like. That was a photograph that was taken at Vernal Equinox this year. That is Uncle Kage and my human pet. Anyhow, let me see. And Warriors the Dragon asks, when was the last time Tien got fan art? Oh, well, last time I got fan art, I believe, was shortly after Euroference. That was a piece of fan art that was made. I don't remember if it was for a stream or not, but I know it was shortly after Euroference. That would be the last time that I had received fan art, which was very, very kind. There has been a lack of celestial dragon's presence on the intertubes, and, you know, particularly with artwork, so perhaps I should get a little bit more done with myself. And for those of you, again, that did not know, that particular image that Uncle Kage linked, that is, of course, Mr. Magoo and Charlie. Charlie being the oriental manservant to Mr. Magoo, and of course being played with the typical Oriental voice. And I say Oriental because, I mean, frankly, that's the only way you can describe that accent. It is not belonging to a particular ethnicity. It is simply Oriental because that's the way that they designed it. And my big brother Tien Long says, how about Grumpy Arts? Hehe. Well, Grumpy Arts would be suitable, especially for us, big brother. But I am not sure these days of what sort of grumpy act I have not already been captured in, you know. There's the me being denied by wine. There's, you know, someone else took my wine. There's me having to give my wine away. That was done on a Christmas card for Uncle Kage. There was, you know, there's myself, you know, having a bad back and all that. There's just general grumbling and rumblings of a celestial dragon and all that. There's not many situations where I am grumpy that have not been drawn already. That will be an interesting one. Perhaps one of them will have to be something along the lines of, you know, oh, Tien Long, you know, went to the liquor store and they ran out of his favorite sake or wine or something like that. Or even, you know, Tien Long, you know, got, you know, tricked into, you know, spooky things like spooky, scary movies by Uncle Kage, and, you know, and that made him grumpy because that's not my thing, unfortunately. The last one that I had been forced to watch, not even forced to watch, that we had been fooled into watching by our own naivety, was Tusk. And for those of you that do not know what Tusk is, it is, well, it is a Kevin Smith movie. That's all I would really say about that. Other than that, don't watch it. Yes, don't watch it. Tusk is, no, do not watch Tusk. I absolutely forbid you to watch Tusk. And now all the youngsters are like, ooh, what's Tusk? Oh, whoa, notices your movie. Type on Google, oh my goodness. You're welcome. I'm not sorry. My throat feels somewhat parched. I shall have to partake in a little bit of more my cat, of course. So cheers for all of you out there that still have something as well. Getting a little carried away there. The more I tip it backwards, the more comes out, you know. It's sort of interesting how that happens, right? You know, I just tip it back and suddenly there's more than... never mind. You kids and your dirty thoughts. And Warriors the Dragon says, I need to refill my coffee. Well, Warriors, what time is it over there where you are? I cannot begin to imagine right now. Well, actually, I can. It's probably around 1 or 2 a.m. over where you are. I know that in the Netherlands it is about 1:30, actually. It's almost 1:30 over in the Netherlands. Goodness. And then even later for other parts of Europe as well. And then over in the region of Singapore and Australia, it is already, you know, bright as day. You know, already sun is coming out. Yay, let's get the day started and whatnot. So I do appreciate all of my fans and all of my audience for joining me, whatever time it is, because I know that that time could be either spent sleeping or perhaps, you know, getting things done productively, but of course the Celestial Dragon does appreciate your company as well, so thank you for being here. Well, I am looking at the time once again, and it is almost an hour and a half into the show so far. I'm wondering if I should finish this bottle first before proceeding to the drawings, because once again I will also have to adjust the camera so that you are able to see the drawings. After all, it's a little dark and difficult to be seeing them right now as is. Well, in that case, I shall wait until this bottle is finished. I have another bottle of my cat wine, my Tuma cat wine over here that I can partake in as well once it is finished, and once this first bottle is finished, I shall begin the drawings. And once again, for my patrons, especially those that I am drawing for, if you are donating a certain amount, you know, you get to request a doodle from yours truly, Tien Long, and no quality guaranteed whatsoever, and I hope that I can, you know, be as eloquent as I can with my artistic skills and hopefully not make your eyes bleed. A quick note as well, for those that did get drawings from me last month, I have not quite sent them out yet. I do apologize, but I shall send them out along with this month's drawings as well. So you get 2 for 1 in the envelope. Good deal, 2 for 1. Saves me postage. Anyhow, see what else is happening over here. Once I open up my chat, I do hate having to close it on and off, because I want to keep this red ominous glow, because it's all like, I have this red ominous glow, and you have Alfred Hitchlong back there, and he's all like, I am Alfred Hitchlong. Yes, I am. All right, well, let me open the chat window back up and see what the youngster is saying as well. And QB Lion says, still sunny 4-ish afternoon in Las Vegas. Yes, I have forgotten. It is 4 a.m. or 4 p.m. in Las Vegas, where QB Lion resides. He is in what is known properly as Sin City. So if you're talking about being in Tien's hell, well, technically I should be in Las Vegas right now, because that would probably be where, all of hell's, hookers and blackjack would pool in, is Las Vegas. So if only I could have this sort of setup in Las Vegas, yes, I would be set. Let me see. And, Gummibjorn... We already talked about this, Gummibjorn. That is not the name of the shadow that is behind me. His name is not Alfred that. It is Alfred Hitchlong. Yes, it is. Alfred Hitchlong is his official name. And Susan Ray Siebert says, 2 for 1 chicky fried rice. Yes, very good. Very tasty. So tasty. Chicky fried rice. And the best part is when you look in the back and you see that the cook is not even of Eastern descent himself. Well, I will say that chicken fried rice is irresistible, so I shall look past that detail. And Yakisoba says 2 for 1. According to my bank account, it's more like 2 for 2. Well, you get 2 for 1 in the envelope, Yakisoba. That is what I am getting at. But regardless, you shall be getting your drawings soon after the stream, I hope. Again, I do apologize for the delay in sending them out. And Quipper says, rah, hey, Tien Long. Well, good to see you, Quipper. It's only been an hour and a half since the stream started. Thank you for joining now. Yes, us old dragons do not like things starting late. But again, with the sort of more low-key stream volume tonight, I shall be less stern about it. And let me see. And Gummibjorn says I'm gonna get so much dye next time I meet Tien Long. Yes, that is correct, Gummibjorn. You will be getting copious amounts of dye served fresh from the bar. Perhaps I can, inspire the bar at your ferns to create a drink in honor of the presence of Tien Long and just name it dye. So you can go up to the bar and you can ask for a dye, and they will hand you a dye, and you will get a dye. Yes, I shall ask Night Fox. Yes, Night Fox of all the German people there. Nas Fuchs, and if you can pronounce it correctly, I cannot pronounce it correctly. Nas Fuchs. Oh, I don't know if that was the Furball or the Deutsche that got stuck in my throat just now. But yes, Nachfuchs is the one that I would ask in order to get the bar to create a drink called dye, and perhaps the logo will be just a picture of my monocle glare. Yes, we shall have to make this happen. Dye! And in this dye will have to be 100% organic, homegrown, low-fat, non-GMO dye inside it. Straight from the source, which is, of course, Celestial Dragon. Let me see. And Gummibjorn says, I am sure Tony the bar manager will create that drink for you. Well, I hope he will, after all. If he is not very cooperative, then perhaps he himself will have to be the first taste tester of dye. And let me see. Garbear says, hey, Quipper, Bear is taking over. Smiley face. Well, it seems that bears, especially in Canada, sort of just like to lumber over to your den or to your campsite or whatnot, sniff through your belongings, eat a sandwich or two, and then sort of just mosey off. And in fact, sometimes they'll even just walk up to your tent and poke their muzzles through the tent. Let me quickly create a tent here, we've got here we go, we've got a tent. We've got a tent right here. There we are, this is your tent. This is where you reside. This is where the humans reside when they're going camping and whatnot. and then suddenly a bear muzzle will come through. And the bear muzzle will be like, yo, hello fellow Canadians, are you Canadian too? Because I'm a Canadian bear, and it's so good that we're all Canadians here, eh? Yeah, buddy, sorry for, eating your food, and, sorry for messing up your campsite, eh? Oh, yeah, let's go, like, for a game of hockey and, drink some Tim Hortons, eh? Yeah, sorry, buddy, guy. Oh, yeah, I'm not your guy, friend. Yeah, that's basically how Canadian bears would be like. So, Canadian bears are friendly bears. I'm not quite sure about the attitude of other bears, especially of the bears that are currently in this channel. We have, for example, we have Gummy Bear, we have Gummy Bjorn, we have, and he is a Gummy Bear, of course. We have Gar Bear, we have Quipper, we have many bears that are here in this channel. So perhaps they could all, take a leaf or two from the Canadian Bear book and, be like, oh, I'm sorry, guy, buddy, friend. And if you want to brush up on your Canadian lingo, it is very, very easy. Just listen to music by the group The Arrogant Worms, and you'll be able to very, very easily brush up on your Canadian lingo. Just in a moment. They have the best Canadian, yes, the best Canadian ever. Yes, they have a bigly dictionary of Canadian language that they use in their songs. And Yamori13 Foxbat says, G2G, wish I could stay off the liquor store. My mate and me are thirsty. Well, if you must call, if the liquor store calls rather, and you must heed its call, well, I shall not stop you. But thank you very much for joining me once again on this stream, and I hope you have a pleasant time slaking your thirst at the liquor store. And Garbear says, bear with us. Oh, yes, I did a bear pun earlier, so he gets a pass. There, we're 1 for 1. 1 for 1, not such a good deal. There we are. And Noose Stull says, I am no bread. I guess you are no bread. No bread for you, Noose Stull, no bread. You are no bread, so no bread for you. Anyhow, let me see. Tien, ever since the past stream you've been mentioning French girls, ever thought you'd be dressing up as one? Well, I don't know if I should be the one dressing up as a French girl. After all, I've got my French dragon sitting in the corner over there. He's a little dark because of the lights and what's more being turned off and all that. He's a little dark, but there's a French dragon that is sitting over there for those that have not seen before, and he's always posing like a French girl, and he's always like, oh yes, look at me, I'm a French dragon drawn by a French artist. You must draw me, you must paint me like one of your French dragons. So I think I shall let him do the Frenching, and I shall do the longing. And Garbear says, you made a very funny joke. I cannot believe it. The bears are taking over my channel. It is becoming absolutely unbearable. I know. Most of you are saying, boo, boo, Tien Long, away with the dad jokes. Well, I'm sorry. This is my stream, so I shall continue with the dad jokes as much as I can. Or rather, the bear jokes. I can barely tolerate youngsters in the first place. Oh, you see, I just made another bear pun. Barely tolerate. Never mind. Anyhow, yes, watch as all the viewers are like, oh, goodness, he's making bear jokes. Time to call it a night. Goodness gracious. And let me see. And Susan Ray Siebert says, French bread dragon. Would that be a baguette dragon then? Well, a baguette dragon would be like, it'd be on like the Parisian boardwalk, and, the French dragon would be like a very refined French artist dragon, maybe a French artist noodle dragon, and he's got his little beret perched on his head. If this was a beret and it was perched on his head, and he'd be like, yes, let me draw, yes, I shall draw you, I shall draw le portrait of you, and his beret falls off in front of his face because he can't put it on correctly. Yes, that would be a French baguette dragon. Almost like Boozy Baguette. For those of you that do not know, Boozy Badger, for some reason, has a thing with baguettes. It's like he has a fascination with baguettes. So there was one time where my human pet had drawn Boozy Baguette, and it featured Boozy Badger turning into his lifelong fantasy, which was a freshly baked loaf of baguette. Yes, so he was Le Boozy Baguette, which is something that I hope sticks for a very long time. Let's not let him forget Le Boozy Baguette. Ha 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 ha. Ah, let me see. And Yakisoba says dragette. Yes, a dragon baguette is a dragette. That is correct, Yakisoba. Thank you for correcting me. A dragette. Yes, in no relation whatsoever to the Dragget show. No. Not in any relation whatsoever, because the Dragget show is a dragon and a ferret show. That's why it's Dragget. Yes. This one is a French Dragette, which is a dragon shaped like a baguette, which is more like a bow. Yes, the Chinese variant would be a bow, so I would rather be a bowette. No, we'll keep it at bow. Yes, simply bow, like Xiaolong Bao. Xiaolong Bao is currently off to the side somewhere. He doesn't like the spooks either. Let me see. And Her Majesty's Dragon J says pan au dragon. Yes, that is correct. Yes, the bread of dragon, or dragon bread, rather. So you can see us dragons are very, very handy when it comes to, being all, starchy and puffy and, bow-shaped and making you all stuffed and yeah, whatnot. You can make so many references off of that. I just gave you all of them. You're welcome. All right, well, I shall have another swig of this and see how much is left, and if I seem to empty this, then that means that I shall commence with the drawings. So cheers to you once again, my friends. I hope that you have enough there to slake your thirsts. I didn't even get any on my fingers this time, and I was licking my fingers. Oh, goodness. This cat is certainly making things rather spookily, strangely arousing in ways. I blame the cat over here. This cat wine is rigged. It's rigged. It's Photoshop. Fake news. Alternative facts, I say. Oh, and Silent Dawn has arrived as well. Yes, Silent Dawn. Hello, you helicopter crashing kitty. Good to see you here. I did not mention anything about crashing helicopters. Anyhow, Quipper asks, what kind of sake are you drinking? Quipper, this is not sake. This is what is known as the Tuma cat wine. A mutated cat which looks somewhat creepy and unsettling when you look at it for too long, because, like all cats, they sort of steal your souls after a while. But this is Tuma Cat. He is not a sake, but rather he is a Rheinhessen Riesling from Germany. It is from 2016, which is a rather fresh Riesling. So I am having myself a lovely white wine for the evening, simply because, I wanted to change things up a little to be more theme appropriate. And now all the bear puns are flying as well. Maybe this is the punishment I am getting for drinking, a cat's brains out of its skull, is I have all of these unbearable puns. And right now I see a lot more bear puns that are also popping up as well. And well, there was one again by Garbear that had both polar and bear, and it has puns. Oh, goodness gracious. But let me see. Silent Dawn, well, I'm just simply stating what, was mentioned that one time where you might not have crashed a helicopter. Anyhow, yes, moving right along. Jerwin Dragon says, Chen, you should put googly eyes on that cat. Well, I would put googly eyes on it if I could. It would be quite interesting to see a googly-eyed Tuma cat, because that would then be more like a derp cat, like a Tuma derp cat, where it's like, hey there, I got a tumor on my head. Look at me, I'm a Tuma cat. You sound, that's probably going to trigger someone on Twitter now. But anyhow, That reminds me of a thought. You see this particular cat right here, this particular Tuma cat that I have been slurping for the past hour and a half. This particular Tuma cat is actually quite remarkably similar to a gift that my human pet had given to Moth Monarch and her husband for their wedding. Now, see, the thing was they got married about a year ago, and my human pet had been invited to their wedding, and he was all sad because their wedding was on the same weekend as Indie FurCon, and as he is obliged to Indie FurCon, he was regrettably absent for their wedding. But in place of him went this lovely cat sculpture that was very much like this one, except about, big, like yay big, almost as long as my noodle, and it was like, oh, look at this, I found this cat, and I'm going to give it to you. And they got the cat, and they were like, what the heck are we supposed to do with this? And they turned it around, and they saw that it was a toilet bowl cleaner holder. So in the bathroom, where you go in the bathroom and there's a toilet bowl scrub, and you put it in some sort of thing to hold it. That cat was actually a hidden statuette that doubled as the scrub holder, the little thing that you put the scrub into. But it was also big enough to conceal a bottle of wine, a full bottle of wine as well. So I told them, my human pet told them that it could double as a wine bottle holder, or like a secret stash for those moments when you're in the bathroom and you really just need to down a bottle or two. So I think that they were quite pleased with that gift, which was very, very good. Let me see. And Gumi Bjorn says, I didn't start in the morning. I had brunch first and then bought the rum, and now it's gone. Gumi, you say you didn't start in the morning. You had brunch and then you went on the rum. At that point, it doesn't make a difference whether you started in the morning or not. My dear friend, you are absolutely wild. The way you start so early and continue on until either my stream starts or the old man's stream starts. Well, as long as you're able to pace yourself and you're doing it within limits, then, well, as long as you're enjoying yourself. But I do worry for you. And let me see. And Warriors asks, what happens if you give Gekai-kan sake to Tien? You get a lot of dye, that's what. Yes, Gekai-kan is basically the Budweiser of sakes. Yes, and if you're not familiar with that, well, probably a good thing that you're not familiar with that. But yes, I would not do Gekai-kan. I'd rather have a glass of my own dye. Let me see. And Jackal the Circle says, why the rub gone? Well, where's the rub? Where'd the rub go? I'm not quite sure. My human pet had opted for a rub of his own earlier. He had to go to a massage therapist and get himself looked at because my human pet had been nursing some injuries as of late, but, well, hopefully he should be all right in a matter of days. I myself, however, I have to deal with aches and, bad joints and stiff backs for pretty much every single waking day, and it's not fun. Trust me, don't get old. Stay young if you can. Don't get old like I am. And Diokami asks, does Tien have a favorite sport? Well, I don't necessarily have a favorite sport, but I do happen to find myself an avid practitioner of martial arts, as the humans call it. Well, that does count as a sport. After all, it is done very similarly to sporting events, and as far as I know, it is actually now being reintroduced into the Olympics in terms of karate being a sport. So in that case, I am a sports practitioner of the martial arts sort of practice. So I'm a very, very big advocate of that. And Yoshikos Raptorida says, rum is behind the... I don't have rum behind... What rum are you talking about? I don't see any rum behind the couch. Yoshi, are you drinking as well? I believe you're cut off. There's no rum behind the couch whatsoever. And let me see. Volt Ashkor says, and I'm back. I did not notice that you had left. Well, welcome back then, Yoshi. It is Voltash Core. It's good to see you. And oh, the chat is saying, but ask him, Dragon, but you said that just to get me to turn around, didn't you? I know who's the first person that I'm going to tell the bartender at Yerfer and Skib the Die to. All right. Well, now that you have your little dirty sneak peek at what you youngsters really wanted to see, I believe it is time for me to quickly take an intermission and switch over to the drawing camera very quickly. I'll have to readjust my camera over here, and regretfully, I'll have to turn on brighter lights in order to do the drawings, but I believe it is time to start with the drawings now. So, if you'll give me a moment here. Actually, I do not have my elevator music at the moment, but in the event that I do not have elevator music, I have the wonderfully creepy Halloween music that I had going on before. So I shall put that back on for now while I quickly take a small breather as well as switch over to my drawing camera. So I shall be right back. Hold on. Yes, I shall be right back in just a moment or two. Don't go away too far. As soon as I can find out where the heck I am. There we are. Alright, my apologies once again for this slight delay as well as that weird little flash of screen, but I am currently working on trying to improve my technical experience. It is a little difficult since I do this by myself, but an old dragon tries to get by as best as he can. But, of course, like I mentioned earlier, we are now getting to the drawing portion of this stream, where, once again, the patrons of mine that have paid to a certain donation or above do get little perks from my stream. And one of those perks being that they get a personalized piece of art. Art is a very relative term because I do not draw so much as I scribble on the screen and hope that it looks like anything close to what they imagined. But yes, I do draw pieces of art for them, and they are mailed out to my patrons, usually at the end of the month. But in this case, again, like I mentioned, my patrons, this time you will be getting both your September and October streams together, because an old dragon, unfortunately, was caught up in many things to do and did not have the time to mail them out earlier. So you shall be getting a 2-for-1, like I said. But let me pull up the screen over here with the list of drawings that I am to do. There we are. And let me see what the first one is right now. I do not know where I am once again. Let's see. All right, the first one is from Altoriu, who I believe is not here with us this evening for the stream, but no worries. Altoriu would like... let me see. I will be away for the stream this month, but for my drawing request, can I get one of Ching Tien and myself sitting down and making jack-o'-lanterns? All right, well, very Halloween-themed indeed. So, in that case, I shall quickly pull out the pen, of course, that I have, and hopefully it does not flake out on me. I have my backup, so no worries. This one is for Altoria. So, I shall draw first my jack-o'-lanterns over here. I've got one over here. They're somewhat bow-shaped, which make it easy for me to draw. There we are. I will draw one jack-o'-lantern over here, and this jack-o'-lantern is all like, look at me, I'm a jack-o'-lantern. And it's got a line down the middle of its smile because, well, sometimes jack-o'-lanterns are special. So there's one jack-o'-lantern. Over here we have jack-o'-bow-lantern over 2. Alright, here we go. This one is going to have a wah face instead. He's going wah. Actually, that's more like an ooh sort of face. So I've got to give the other one a much bigger wah face. So this one over here is all wah. There we are. That's a more wah-like face for me. Alright, so there are the 3 jack-o'-lanterns. Oh, I knocked the camera with my muzzle once again. And to draw the 3 dragons with their jack-o'-lanterns, I shall put Altoriu on this side over here. There we are. Altoriu and his little noodles. He's got little noodles because he's not quite earned the old noodles yet that I have, as well as my brother. There's Altoriu with his jack-o'-lantern back there. He's almost like he's popping out of the jack-o'-lantern, so it's like a jack-in-the-box Altoriu lantern. Alright, second dragon over here. This one will be myself, I guess. There we are. Dum-de-dum-dum. I had tried to purchase myself a new drawing device earlier this month, but unfortunately the one that I had wanted, they ran out, and once again I had no availability to go out and search for more. So I promise for the next round I shall make sure that I have something a little bit better than this one. This one again is holding in there, but of course my patrons, being the ones that are supporting the stream, of course they deserve nothing but the sharpest of sharpies and whatnot. The sharpest of sharpies, yes, I like that. There we are, and of course we have myself over here, and I am probably stabbing this thing to death with a knife. Yes, there we are, there's my little knife of death, and I am stabbing this jack-o'-lantern with my knife, because that's why it's going wah. I'm looking a little too enthusiastic stabbing this pumpkin. Don't think about that too much. I am usually not so enthusiastic when stabbing things. Yes, don't think about that too hard. And then, of course, we've got my big brother on this side. There we are, and my big brother, well, my big brother, I don't think he's as stabby as I am, so, he gets no knife. Yes, so that is myself, Altoryu, and my big brother Tien Long stabbing, rather carving our jack-o'-lanterns out to life for the Halloween season. And perhaps I'll throw in maybe a couple pumpkins back there as well, you know, just regular pumpkins that didn't get carved out yet. There's one back there. And there's number 2 over here. There we are. Alright, there we are. So this is for Altoryu. I shall sign it down here for Altoryu. Alright. Now let us switch, or let us go to the next drawing over here. Now, the next drawing, I believe, is for Arabian Darkstone. I actually have a sheet of paper back here that I did not see earlier. There we are. The next drawing again is for Arabian Darkstone. Arabian, I do believe that I had messaged you earlier in regards to not receiving your drawing. If you could kindly reply, if you have not already, to that message on Patreon. I shall have to check it in a little moment, as I cannot really look at my Patreon right now. But in the meantime, again, I shall go to the next drawing and I will come back to you, Arabian. Alright, we have Godroxen. Godroxen is next. Let me see Godroxen. Actually, let me quickly pull up my my little stream viewer again, just to make sure. Oh, yes, I am still invisible. There we go. Can you all see me? Yes, you can. There we go. Perfect. Alright, Godroxen. This time around would like me to draw Godroxen handing out candies to those trick-or-treating youngsters. Not really spooky, but related. Well, I believe I can do that. After all, Godroxen is a spirit guardian, like a forest guardian spirit, something along those lines, which means that he is a more friendly beast than I would be. Alright, well, I can do that for you, Go. There we are. So, we can draw Godroxen. He's one of those hybrid creatures. He's like a deer, a fox, a dragon, a bird, you know, a snail, a pigeon, you know, a sea turtle, everything put together. There we are. Godroxen. He's got his lovely smile because he's a friendly forest guardian. He's got his antler rack over here. He's got a very nice rack. Yes, he does. And he's got his little deer ears as well over there. Very, very floofy fellow, and he's got his sort of wings. Again, he is a forest guardian. He is an amalgamation of many creatures. Perhaps he can be, you know, doing a whole, like, Oprah thing and being like, you get a candy, and you get a candy, and everybody gets a candy. There we go, and he's got a little stub tail back there. And Godroxen is making it rain candy. So let's just draw, you know, candy pieces and whatnot flying out from Godroxen's wings. He's got his little Halloween basket candy over here, or candy basket. There we are. And he's throwing all of his candy out to the kids because Goldroxin enjoys the kids much more than I do, which is good on him and, well, good on him. There we are. And we should probably draw a couple youngsters. So I shall draw a youngster here, and this youngster's all like, yay, I enjoy the candies. And then we have another youngster here, and this one youngster's like, wow, so much candy, free candy la. And then we have, I guess we'll have another youngster back here, and this one's like, OMG, yay, candy, super hyper, hyper adrenaline candy rush, yay. There we are. Alright, that is Goldroxin handing out Halloween candies to the youngsters trick-or-treating. And I guess I should give them costumes as well, because, well, they cannot be trick-or-treating without costumes. In that case, I shall make one of these kids. I guess I shall give them a helmet of some sort. I don't know what kind of helmet that is. Well, I'll give them that for now. Maybe that's a hairstyle, a really bad hairstyle. Maybe another one can be, can be an ice cream head. Yes, there's an ice cream head costume kid. Yes, he's like Ice Cream Man. Yes, he's Ice Cream Man. And then, last one can be bald, for all I care. I don't know. Maybe he's dressing up like a bald guy. Who knows? Anyhow, that is Goldroxin giving candy to the kids. Very good, Goldroxin. Thank you for being a good sport. Alright, I shall sign that later as well. Now, moving on, we have Jackal the Circle. Hello, Jackal the Circle. Jackal the Circle would like me to draw for them the scene between you and Boozy, his and your reaction to posting on Twitter of the butt nose. So you would like my reaction to Boozy Badger posting on Twitter the butt nose. Is that correct? Let me read that one more time. You and Boozy, his and your reaction. Well, his reaction, Boozy Badger, I know his reaction was all like, oh my goodness, this is the best thing in the world because, I have just made fun of the celestial dragon. So here we shall have Boozy. And over here we shall have myself. There we are. And for my reaction, I shall draw my reaction first. My reaction is a very, very prominent middle finger for that butt nose, because I do not have a butt nose, thank you very much. No butt nose here. There we are. All right. This is definitely starting to not really cooperate with me. I do apologize once again. Let's see if I can squeeze the last bit out of this thing, and then I shall switch to the other pen. There we are. Get rid of Tien on this pen, get rid of myself in terms of finishing this, and then I shall get rid of this and switch over to the other one for Boozy. Alright, there we go, that is myself. Now, away with this thing. I keep on knocking the camera, my apologies. Alright, let's see if this one does any better. Hopefully it does. And alright, Boozy, here we go. Boozy's reaction. Boozy's reaction to that picture. Huh. Well, of course, he would be all, ROFLOL to this picture, so he would be the one that's like, oh my goodness, this is the funniest thing ever because, I am Boozy Badger and I just, make fun of, Tien Long's butt nose because I can, because I'm a badger and he can't sue me and all that. I mean, I could try, but he's Boozy Badger. This man will boozy the law in and out before it's even Sunday. There we are. And Boozy is like all laughing on his back and forth. And he's all like, LOL. Ah, that's the reaction. Boozy's reaction and my reaction to him posting the butt-nose picture on Twitter. Thank you very much, Jackal the Circle. That is a terrible memory, and I hope to forget that in the morning. Perhaps the wine will be needed for that. Ugh. All right. Oh, by the way, for my viewers that are watching right now, I do not really look at the chat while I am drawing, so I am apologetic if I am not responding to your questions. Here, have a dragon heart. Yes, there you are. That's all you're getting. Anyways, moving on to the next drawing. The next drawing we have is for Silent Dawn. Hello, Silent Dawn. Silent Dawn, I would like if you, let me see. That was the wrong one. Silent Dawn would like, how about you draw myself smashing or otherwise savagely destroying a whole bunch of pumpkins? That sounds fun. Okay, so we shall have a possessed, demonic kitty tiger destroying a whole bunch of pumpkins. That sounds about right. All right, here we are. So we have Silent Dawn, the demonically possessed kitty, because he somehow is destroying all of these things. He's destroying all the pumpkins. Oh, I accidentally gave him the same testicle nose that Uncle Kage gives him. I apologize, Silent Dawn. Then again, I don't really have to. But anyhow, let's see. So Silent Dawn, of course, being the tiger, give him his tiger stripes and all that. And he's all kung fuing these he is kung fuing the pumpkins, because suddenly Silent Dawn took kung fu lessons from me and is now practicing his kicks on pumpkins, and this pumpkin over here just got kicked into the next era. There we are. And the pumpkin is even all sad. The pumpkin's why did you kick me like that? There we are. Kicked it right open with the shards of the pumpkin flying in the air. There we are. So there's one pumpkin being destroyed there, and then there's another pumpkin over here that can also be destroyed completely, just utterly devoid of life and pumpkinness. No pumpkin spices for you. There we are. All right, and we probably have other pumpkins laying dead down here as well. Yes, dead pumpkins, because Silent Dawn apparently has something against pumpkin spice or pumpkin spice lattes, whatever you kids drink these days. And therefore, all these pumpkins are now destroyed. There we are. That's for, and I'll put a few more stripes on the side over here. This is for Silent Dawn, because Silent Dawn is a tiger that hates pumpkins. Yes, he is. There we are. That is for Silent Dawn. Again, I shall sign all of these later. I know I did for the first one, but frankly, an old celestial dragon doesn't have the patience to sign all of them right away. So I shall sign them all after the show. That is for Silent Dawn right there. Thank you very much. All right, next up we have Silver Gatomon. Silver Gatomon. Silver Gatomon would like Tien and Ting reenacting the Mufasa death scene. Oh, well, this just got dark very quickly. Okay. Mufasa's death scene from The Lion King, okay? Okay, I think I know what to do. All right, I think I know what to do. All right, we are going to do... maybe my big brother is the one that is passed out over here. He's not really dead. He's more just passed out because he had too much of my wine. There we are. Yes, my big brother is just simply drunk. He is not dead. There we are. And this right here is also a depiction of what happens when you try to outdrink myself or Uncle Kage or any of us other known faces in the fandom, us experienced performers who enjoy liquid libations. So that's my big brother over there. There we are. He had too much of his little brother's wine. And he's all like, I am drunk, brother, wah. And then, over here, we have little brother Tien Long. And he's all like, wah. Because, of course, if Big Brother and I are reenacting this scene, it would be done in a more Singaporean style. It would not be done in the classic Western style of Disney. This would be like Singaporean Disney. So, of course, every third word would be, you know, some sort of Singlish slang, and then every sentence would end in xiao or liao or le or lo or la or any of those variants. And if you don't know what I mean, you can either ask my big brother here. I'm sure that he's still lingering around here in this chat somewhere. Or you can even search up on YouTube after the show Kim Huat, H-U-A-T, Kim Huat. And you can listen to this man's videos. He is a comedian from Singapore, a vlogger, but more comedian than anything, as he is quite funny. And, well, you can listen to his natural language, and you will see what I mean. There we are. And I just heard a buzz from the smarty phone, which I am forced to have. Let me see. And then this is big brother, or little brother. And little brother over here is going, wah. Because big brother is drunk off of my wine. There you go. That is for Silver Gatomon, who wanted me to draw a Disney scene that would be normally tragic, but in this case, it's just a normal Thursday evening for the brothers. Anyhow, next up. I heard something go buzz over in the side. Just in case, I shall check what had just buzzed me, because no one usually buzzes me. All right, there we are. I'm going to leave it over there. Nothing important. No need to worry. Next up, we have Trottle Bear. Hello, Trottle Bear. You would like me to draw a drawing of myself dressed up as Morpheus, telling a Trottle Bear dressed as Neo, you are the one. Okay. Well, this is a more specific one with an actual theme, that of course being from The Matrix, starring Neo and Morpheus, Keanu Reeves, and Lawrence Fishburne. Tell me, of course, that he is not a fish furry with a name like Fishburne, but anyhow. Alright, let us draw me sitting in an armchair over here as if they were meeting for the first time. And me, of course, wearing these weird sun spectacles that no one would wear indoors or in this modern day and age. And I'm looking rather gangster because, well, that was basically Morpheus in all of those movies. There we are. Alright, so there's me in my armchair. And I am rather small in my armchair over here. This armchair was definitely not designed for a long bow. Maybe it's a recliner. Yes, I shall make it a recliner. There we go. Not really canon with the original, but we'll make it an armchair. And, of course, because I am Morpheus, I have to be wearing this, you know, super sleek trench coat, you know, overcoat that's made of all leather, and he must have been sweating through the entire production of that. There we are. And then we have Trottle Bear dressed up as Neo. So we should give him, like, the angular Neo sunglasses. There we are. And he's all like, yo, sup, bro? And he's all in astonishment because apparently he is the one. And of course, he also has to be, you know, dressed up like a Neo as well. I almost gave Chuttlebear a Tien Long tail. He is not quite a long yet. He'll have to work his way up there. Even though he is the one, he is not quite a long yet. He is not the long, he is the one. So here I am telling him, you are the one. And he's all over here like, wow. There we are. We have the Singlish Matrix version featuring Tien Long as Morpheus and Chuttlebear as Neo. Thank you very much, Chuttlebear. All right, next up. Next up over here. All right, we have Volt Ashcore. Volt Ashcore. Volt Ashcore would like me to draw Tien taking over Godzilla's role of destroying cities by becoming Godzilla. That is Godzilla, and then the suffix at the end of Singlish and Chinese languages, la. So Godzilla. Of course, given the time of year, I'd like to see it done with a Halloween costume or theme as well, maybe even with Tien dressed up as Godzilla. So Tien dressed up as Godzilla would be Godzilla. Okay, I can definitely do that. I can most definitely draw myself being destructive with urban landscape and perhaps doing some renovations for cities. I wouldn't even charge them for it. All right, we have, yes, we should have myself first. And I am all like rawr stompy, but then I am wearing a Godzilla costume, so I have to be somewhat concealed within. There we are. And Gojira is a very big stompy beast, so I shall have to make this as big as I can without completely bigifying it across the page. And, well, I'm not complaining about that, but it'd be difficult then to fit in the rest of it. So he's all like, look at me, I am Gojira. Yes, I look like I just came out of like a Power Rangers film audition or something like that. Me and my big beefy arms and, you know, being Godzilla, being Gojira, being all sexy and whatnot. There we are. Gojira's stompy feet, and of course Gojira is going through the city, and some of the city has already been knocked over as Gojira is passing through. And of course there's more city block to be smashed through because Gojira, of course a creature of his size, it's a little difficult not to be smashing things. Not so much as in avoiding them, but rather to resist smashing them. I don't blame him one bit whatsoever. Alright. And we shall draw a couple more buildings and whatnot. Of course, none of these are actually to scale, but then again, to a creature like Tienzilla or Godzilla. None of them would matter if they were to scale or not. And I should draw maybe some little humans running away, of course. Have to have the running humans in every Godzilla movie. Perhaps I'll draw one of them pinned under Godzilla's foot, Godzilla's foot. There we are, there's one pinned under there because apparently he was too busy taking photos of Godzilla. And perhaps one of them over here also taking a photo with their smarty phone instead of running away. And maybe a car, too. Probably, like, underneath his other foot here. He stepped on a car because, you know, your vehicle sucks. Here is a reason to buy a new one. You can claim it from insurance. There we are. That's Tienzilla. So I'll point an arrow down there and saying Godzilla. There we are. Godzilla. Alright, and that is for Volt Ashcore. Thank you very much, Volt Ashcore, for your generosity as well. Alrighty now. I haven't had a drink of my cat wine recently. I shall quickly indulge myself in a bit. Bear with me. There you go. There's another bear pun for you all out there. Bear with me. Ha. You did not hear me slurping it whatsoever. I was not slurping at it. I was not slurping the cat. Nom, 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 nom. Although it is a tasty cat. Anyhow, let us see. All right, we have Warius Marshall next. Warius Marshall would like Tien Long wishing his patron Warius a happy birthday. Reason Warius turns 21 on the 4th of November. Well, I did not know that whatsoever, but it is good to hear. So, Warius, before I begin, happy birthday to you, Warius. I hope that you have many happy returns on that birthday, especially at 21 years of age. That is a very significant age in many parts of the world. So I hope that you have a good celebration and many returns on, well, many returns. We'll leave it at that. All right, so I should draw myself, of course. So we have myself, Tien Long. And perhaps Tien Long over here is holding like a cake. Yes, Tien Long is holding a cake, and for some reason his noodle is dipping into the cake. Why is my noodle dipping into the cake? That is a very noodle-flavored cake now. And the cake has candles, which means I am about to singe my noodles. See? I told you, when I draw, there's no value guaranteed in it whatsoever. But it's the thought that counts, so think about happy things. There we are. And there are only 3 candles because each candle is worth $7. So 7 times 3 is 21. There you go, that's your value. So there's $21 worth of candles on that cake because those candles are made noodle repellent. Yes, they are. There we are. And this here is for Warius. So I shall say over here, Happy Warius Day. And if it was Singapore, it would be Warius Day. There we are. This is for Warius, and I shall put Warius's name on the cake. We can pretend it's frosting of some sort. There we are. That is Tien Long wishing Warius a happy 21st birthday, early birthday, because your birthday is November the 4th. So I hope again you have good celebrations on that milestone of your time here. There you go, Warius. Happy birthday once again. Early birthday, that is. There we are. And we have, before I check for my messages from Arabian Darkstone, we have Yakisoba. Yakisoba would like me to draw Tien Long fighting his biggest fear. That is an interesting one. Tien Long fighting his biggest fear. I know what my biggest fear would be. All right. Here we have Tien Long, myself, and Tien Long, of course, myself, is going to be doing a very flashy jump kick because, well, old dragons need to show the youngsters how it's done. There we are, Tien Long fighting his biggest fear, and his biggest fear, I shall draw an anthropomorphic blob to represent this fear. And this anthropomorphic blob has like punching gloves because it's, well, we're in a fight, of course. Is being a con chair. And many of you might be wondering why that is, and that is because, well, many a youngster has always asked Tien, when is Tien going to run his own convention called NoodleCon? Believe me, it's happened more times than enough. And after being associated with con chairs for quite some time now, I know exactly how stressful it is and all the duties and responsibilities coming with it. So, right now, my biggest fear would be becoming a con chair. And if you don't believe me, well, I believe there's still a con chair, at least one of them, in this chat, in the stream right now. And you can ask them how much of a nightmare it is to be a con chair. Not just for the convention itself, but all year round. All right, that is for Yakisoba. Thank you very much, Yakisoba. And last but not least, I shall very quickly check to see if Arabian Darkstone has responded to my message. I believe Arabian has. I saw earlier that you had sent me a message. Give me a moment. All right, now, let's see if I can open this up, if the Patreons is going to behave and whatnot. There we are. Arabian Darkstone. Perfect, here we are. Arabian would like me to draw. The wife tells me to tell you anything deer and dragon related. Doe deer, no murder branches. Oh, right. No murder branches in that case. All right, a doe deer and a dragon. All right, well. Okay, I think I shall know exactly what to draw with no murder branches whatsoever. I shall draw the doe deer first over here. This is the wife, of course. There we are. Very pretty doe deer wife. There we are. We've got to have the cheek fluff, of course. This is not exactly the anatomy of a doe deer. I do apologize. I know the snout should be a lot more tapered. I did not mean to do that either. Perhaps the wife grew a goatee. I apologize. Let me redo that one. I do not think your doe deer of a wife would want a goatee. Let me redo that one. We'll forget that ever happened. I did not just draw a doe deer with a goatee. Retake, mulligan. None of you saw that. Fake news, Photoshop. Anyhow. Let's try that one more time. All right. There we are. That's a little bit better. Taper the nose a little bit more. There we are. that is the doe deer wife. We have little spots on the back for some character, some detail. There we are. And the doe deer wife is watching as the dragon husband. I apologize again if I get the sort of dragon anatomy wrong. I apologize, Arabian Darkstone. I'm gonna go on a limb here. Artistic Liberty has been dressed up for Halloween as a male deer with the murder branches. Just because, why not? Let's have some murder branches in the house. Murder branches all around. You get a murder branch, and you get a murder branch. So the husband dragon has been dressed up like a male deer for Halloween. Especially with the little nub tail at the very end. That's always the most important part, the little nub. There we are. Perfect. So we have a lovely stag, a very, very shapely, you know, very full rack of a stag with his murder branches over here, being, you know, adored by his lovely doe deer of a wife. And of course, you know, the doe deer of the wife has done this only out of her love for her husband dragon, who of course looks better with murder branches on his head. So that is for Arabian Darkstone. Thank you very much. I hope that is along the lines of what you were looking for, and if not, well, no money back guarantee. Anyhow, that is my Patreon drawing list for this month of October, which means that now we get to go back to the spookies. Ooh. So if you shall give me a moment to reset everything back together. Just give me a moment over here. All right. Oh, that's a little too low over there. My apologies, youngsters. That was a little bit of an early reset. I did not want the camera to be that low. Anyhow, yes. Welcome back to the Grumpystream, ladies and gentle furs and all that. That was a very unexpected restart of the show. I hope I did not make your eyes bleed just now. Anyhow, oh, let me turn the camera back this way. I do kind of liked it when it was spookier, so let me just quickly turn off the light over there and make spookify this again. Just give me a moment. Oh goodness. Stop looking, you youngsters. There's nothing to see there. There we are. Now it's all dark. You can't see it. All right. Yeah. Now we are back to the Spookystream. And I am all bloodshot and scary and spooky again. Am I scaring you now? Am I creeping you out now? Is the celestial dragon god so deity, so benevolent, so graceful? Is he now instilling the fear of your darkest dreams into your hearts? No? Okay, fine. I'll stop with the act. I know I'm not good at being spooky and whatnot, but I am good at being evil and destructive at times. But anyhow, going back to the stream now. So that was my little drawing portion of my Grumpystream. Again, that is for patrons who donate $25 or more per show. And I do thank you again, once again, all of my patrons. I am truly honored by your generosity and for you helping to keep the show up and running. And of course, if you're interested in becoming a patron, there is a link in the description of this live stream. If you want to click on that link and, you know, maybe give it thought of helping a celestial dragon continue to spookify his shows, or perhaps even make it better for, oh, say, a holiday-themed one, well, those are just some ideas and possibilities. But I shall take another drink of my lovely creepy tumor cat over here, and I hope that you shall join me if you still have anything left. Cheers to you all of my friends. Good stuff indeed. What time is it, I wonder? I must look over here and see. What time is it? Oh, goodness, it is already, if I am correct, it is 2 hours and 40 minutes into the show. Usually these streams last about, 3 to 4 hours, so to say, but, well, again, a celestial dragon is an old dragon, and plus, when the stream starts to slow down, then that is usually when a celestial dragon also seems to slow down, and eventually we end the stream off on a good note. But of course, I still have wine and I still have my audience, so we shall continue onwards. And I have not been looking at the chat recently, so let me quickly look at the chat and see what is happening. Something. Moaning Demon Tien, says Susan Racy. I don't know what it is. I am a slave to the bottle, unfortunately. It commands what I react like and how I react. Oh, and Garbear says, getting sleepy too, sadly. Well, I apologize, Garbear. I know it's very, very late for many of you. It is, quite possibly in the wee hours of the morning for many of you that are in Europe. And that is a fair number of you, actually, so I do not feel like keeping you up too much longer than is comfortable for any of you. So if you must get to sleep, then I shall not blame you whatsoever. I'll just be all sad and lonely and have one less person to drink with, and You see, that's what happens, I just guilt trip all of my audience to be like, oh, but we don't want to leave the celestial dragon to drink on his own, and who knows, he might do something, extra creepy or extra, lascivious, and, you might not get to see that if you leave. Pinstripe asks, Tien, question about your Patreon. Is it monthly or per show? Pinstripe, it is per show. And I do not necessarily have a show every month, which then, I guess, takes away the whole monthly aspect. So it is per show. I usually per year have about, perhaps about 8 to 9 shows. So once every month, if not a little bit in between, or a little bit of a gap between months. So that's usually around the range of my shows. Yes, usually about 8 to 9 per year. So don't worry about it being monthly. A celestial dragon isn't that cruel, but at the same time, I do enjoy the generosity, and who knows, I may even throw in a few freebies or two if the generosity does get to a certain level. Let me see. And Arabian Darkstone says, we are watching and listening, but spending more time cuddling than typing. Well, I hope that the wife over there did not mind me put you into a stag suit for, Halloween, and now that I think about it, a stag suit sounds a lot kinkier than I wanted it to. Never mind, I hope that you two are having a wonderful evening there. My apologies. And Garbear is turning in for the night. Thank you very much for joining, Gar. I hope you have pleasant dreams over there. And let me see. And Yoshiko's Raptoridus says, I wish I was there joining you in drinking. Well, that was your reference for us, Greek Yoshi, and, well, I don't believe I had a lot of time to drink with many, many people at your reference. After all, it is a busy convention for me. But at the same time, I did enjoy meeting many of you for the first time there. And the demon says, Tien, after I get my CDL, I'll load my truck with sake and wine and I'll bring it to you. Well, I would very much appreciate that, thank you. I'm sure that it would keep me fueled for a very long time for these shows. And Wadia says, a friend of mine says that Tien should dress up as a Viking, then Kage would be scared. Is that so? If I dressed up as a Viking, Kage would be scared? Are you sure that Kage isn't scared of me as I am? After all, I am Tien Long. I am this hulking celestial dragon. That's all like, fee, fi, fo, fum and all that, I probably could pull it off right now. See, as I just have to drop the lighting and, just turn the screen up like this. There we are. And be like, yeah. What do we have here? We have a little wine thief, do we? And I heard that this little wine thief was in particular the one that had been keeping me dry for all these years. Well, I'm feeling particularly vengeful tonight. And you wouldn't like to hear what I have in store for you. You sure he's not scared of me now as I am? Moving right along now. That felt particularly scary. I should be doing that more often. That was particularly fun. I should do that again sometime. Yes, perhaps I shall. In fact, perhaps as a little Patreon reward, sometime I should just record like a special little clip along those lines just for my patrons and be like, here, you can use this to like scare all of your like house guests or whatnot when they come over, and you just play this clip, on a door screen and be like, look, it's a celestial dragon and he's coming to eat you. I think I'm getting better at this. I really think I do. It's the cat wine. I must have more of the cat wine. It is helping me very much. I know. Nom, 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 nom. Good stuff, yes. I think it is the cat wine very much. Thank you very much, cat wine. I do appreciate you helping me with my spookiness. Let's see what the comments are like after that. I bet you I know what I'm going to see, but I'm not going to say so first. Let's see. When you turn the lights down, Uncle Kage gets more horny than you. Is that what happened? I hope that wasn't the case. If that was... I hope that really wasn't the case. Uncle Kage, I'm not sure if he's still there, but that was not my intent. I did not mean to do that. I apologize, my good friend. Yes, we'll cut that out in post. Yes, we'll cut that out after the stream and whatnot. Well, let us see what is happening as well. Tien ever wanted to see a room full of wine and booze? Is so, would you steal or take it all away and say, shut up and take my money? Dare Wind Dragon, if I had that much money, I would have done it already. Well, it seems that, yes, once again, my stream is winding down a little, and again, a celestial dragon is an old dragon, unfortunately, which means that my strength is not what it used to be in my youthful days. So, here's what I'll say. We'll give it until the stream hits the 3-hour mark, which is about the norm in which the stream usually slows down or even ends or concludes for this edition. But at the same time, it also gives me time to slowly enjoy the rest of my cat wine, as well as answer anything else that you youngsters may have for me. Although, again, I am curious, is the wine thief still here? Is Uncle Kage, my dearest friend, is he still here? I do want to see if he was genuinely spooked by that little aside that I did just now. Well, I don't have those moments quite often, but that one felt particularly, well, energizing, so to say. That woke up some sort of, primal instinct that dragons have to be, all like imposing and bearing down upon their prey and whatnot. And let me see. Jackal the Circle says, I think he went to bed. Well, in that case, I shall have to see if he's able to catch that later on. But, well, no worries about that. All right. All right, so Gumi says, sorry, but Sam has left. All right, well, in that case, I do not blame him. He and I share the same, we are old and we are grumpy and we must get to bed sort of syndrome. But, again, Arabian Dogstone says, I still have half a case of beer plus 3 cases of on standby. Oh my goodness, Arabian Dogstone, I do hope that you're not doing all that alone. I hope that you have your lovely doe dear of a wife helping you with that as well, at least in some portion, or at least keeping you standing upright by the end of all that. And T'Chall says it certainly did something for this fox. Bah, T'Chall, you need to be looking at younger furries, not this old soggy grumps as myself. Look at someone, well, at least a couple thousand years younger than I am. Then you'll be in the norm. And BT Velvel says it will be a pleasure to meet you next year on Your Friends Again. A shame we only met so briefly this year. Well, BT Werewolf, you are working at your ferns, and I know that you are very diligent in your duty, so I do not blame you whatsoever if you had no time to yourself, and especially little time to meet a celestial dragon. But, as I said, I hope that I will be making it to Euroference next year. I did enjoy it very much this year, and, well, of course, I did enjoy also the very generous bar that they had over there. The Kaltamushi in particular. That is my favorite so far. Let me see. And Bruiser Dragonius asks, Tien Long, has anyone made you into a meme with you saying it's photoshopped? Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they have. People have made me into memes before where I'm administering dies and you get a die and they get a die and everyone gets a die and all that sort of stuff. But I'm sure that there are thousands of memes that are, wise celestial dragons such as myself claiming photoshopped already. And let me see. Gumibjorn says Tien Long, his Deerdo, will keep him standing with a winky face. I'm going to let you respond to that, Arabian. I'm not going to speak on behalf of you, especially with that sort of suggestiveness right there. Let me see. Warriors the Dragon said someone at your friends got so drunk he actually slept on the roof of the hotel. Well, in that case, I'm sure your firm's security dealt with him appropriately. I don't recommend sleeping on the roofs of hotels. It usually borders upon trespassing. And it's kind of a dick move, especially at a convention. I would not recommend sleeping on the roofs of hotels. So, Jackal the Sergal says, so Tien Long at AC 2018, if I buy the drinks, you down. I am more than down, as you kids call it. I'm up for it. In fact, if you are the one paying for the drinks at Anthrocon and I've got free time to myself, then I would be more than happy to. But I will say as well, Anthrocon is the busiest convention for an old dragon. So if I do not find the time to have a drink or two or several with you, I do apologize. The evenings are usually the best time to find me if you do, so look for the evening times. Let me see. And Nustul says, Tien Long, you didn't dishonor someone today. I'm not sure what you're talking about dishonor, but I am the one that is talking about dishonor in terms of other youngsters dishonoring, themselves as well as just societal moral standards and whatnot. But no, I don't believe I have dishonored today. And Gumi says, Tien Long, yep, Dari took care of that along with the authorities. Dari, for those of you that do not know, is one of the security chiefs for Euroference. He is a very, very smart, he is a very buff tiger who you do not want to mess with whatsoever. He is what they call a Panzer Grenadier. In English, that means he will beep you up. Yes, he will beep you up very well. And Pinstripe Graymus says, looking forward to saying hello again at the next MCFC. Thanks again for sharing the wine. Sir, I will do better and get sake instead of the rum for you, lol. Well, Pinstripe, I do appreciate the thought. As I said earlier, it's always the thought that counts, and I try to think happier thoughts. So thank you very much once again. Let me see. And lots of people say, Oh, well, now everyone is sort of sharing their "I got so drunk this one time, you know, this happened" sort of stories. I'm sure we've all had those mistakes before, especially at furry conventions. I like to think that furry conventions, well, they sort of speed up the maturity process because, well, frankly, at furry conventions, you get exposed to many more mature themes and situations faster than you would at any other sort of regular societal event or situation. Yes, furry conventions are very good teaching lessons or teaching points. I just hope that you are not part of one of those teaching lessons that we use at conventions, you know, especially at con horror story panels where we say, oh, remember that one time that, you know, so-and-so got so drunk that they tried to fight a police officer? And then some guy in the back yells, oh yeah, I did that too one time. And we just groan and say, you, sir, are the reason we can't sleep at night. Ah. All right, let me see. Well, it is currently again creeping closer to the 3-hour mark, and again a celestial dragon only has so much in him. So I will take another thing of my cat right now, another swig of my cat, and let's see if I can empty the cat. I shall drain him of all of his brains. I shall become Zombie Long for just a moment, and well, once the wine is gone, unfortunately, so is the stream. So, cheers once again to all of my friends out there. Mm. 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 Nom, 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 nom. Ah, well, that unfortunately is that end of that bottle. And as I've just said, as soon as the bottle is done, so must the stream conclude as well. And, well, right now what I am seeing, well, from the comments I am seeing it is best that I end the stream as well, as either some of you have wandered into that place in your mind or are simply too drunk to realize what you are saying. Well, in that case, again, this has been a rather nice low-key stream, and again, I have tried to make it a little more interesting with the spookiness and with Alfred Hitchlong over there. You can't really see him, he's gone back into hiding, but fear not, all of this will be available once again afterwards on the YouTubes. So, if you missed a portion of it, then you will be able to find it there. And once again, my patrons, you shall be getting your drawings from this month, this stream, as well as the last stream, hopefully soon as well, as long as I am able to process those payments for this month. But, alas, an old dragon can only hold out so much, especially at his age. And, well, while my audience has been lovely as always, I must now conclude my stream for the evening. And many of you over there, especially those of you that are in Europe, need to be getting to bed, because even though you might be youngsters, you still need to make sure that you're getting enough sleep and taking care of yourselves. Don't end up old and wrinkled like I am. Stay young as long as you can. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed my show, whether in its entirety or even just by bit, little bits of my show. And, well, who knows whether our paths will cross at the next convention or even just by fate. But wherever you go, I hope that you strive forward with your head held high and the winds behind you. So once again, I am your host, Tien Long, and, well, thank you once again for joining me this evening on my stream. I hope to see you next time. Make sure that you keep an eye on my Twitter channel, as well as all the other channels that I usually post to, for the next stream announcement. And, again, if our paths cross, well, I hope that I can make your acquaintance there. I shall see you all on the next stream. Farewell for now.